Hey, Roger the announcer here, and thanks for tuning in to episode 133 of Take It Personal Radio. Today we're bringing you our exclusive interview with Said G and Kool Keith of the Ultramagnetic MCs. We give you the full story of these trailblazers. We're breaking down each album, including a special album spotlight for the Four Horsemen. We talk Criminal Minded, how they regret not signing to Def Jam, dissing Run-DMC, and the reason for Tim Dog's Fuck Compton record. We talk baseball, Dr. Octagon, Godfather Don, and all things Ultra. Enjoy this interview episode, and get ready for our follow-up, Ultramagnetic Kool Keith tribute, coming soon. And now, let's start the show.
Yo, just relax. Y'all know the name. Take it personal. Right now you're tuned in to Take It Personal. I'm ready to put y'all up on something, man.
The revolution is here.
No doubt.
Yo, this is KRS-One, checking out the Take It Personal radio show.
Yo, check it out, y'all. This is DJ Premier.
Yo, what's up? It's Black Thought from the Legendary Roots crew, and you checking out Take It Personal Radio.
Yo, check this out. It's the Soul Brother #1, Pete Rock.
Yo, what's up? This is Diamond D representing Digging in the Crates right here on Take It Personal Radio, the best in hip-hop.
You are now checking out.
Y'all know the name.
It's your boy Farrell Monch. You already know what it is. I want to give a big shout out to the Take It Personal show.
This is Chuck D.
This is Flavor Flav, boy. And you checking it out. Take it personal. So, yo, do that.
Right now, you listening to Take It Personal. Spinning that fly shit. You heard.
Yo, what's up? It's Eric Sermon, the Green Knight Bandit, representing EPMD. Here on Take It Personal Radio. This the truth.
Check them out.
Yo, what's up? It's the artist named Kool Keith. You're checking out Take It Personal.
You're checking out Take It Personal with my people. Y'all care anymore about this hip-hop, man? What you waiting for? Ride a style on I'm right.
Check it out, it's your boy MC Surge, and right now you're checking out Take It Personal. It's not a game.
Take it personal.
Alright, yo, ladies and gentlemen, right now, if you don't know what the fuck is about to go on, this is Take It Personal. With my boy Full of Flavor, Kevlar, Aaron, Roger the announcer, and DJ 360 with his sinking ass. This is Take It Personal, and we in the building, yeah.
Take It Personal Radio, episode 133, and we are going to raise it up and hit you with the Ultramagnetic MCs experience. We got none other than Said G and Kool Keith joining us for a very extensive interview. And listen, guys, we just spent 5 episodes in about 3 months in the 90s, so we're also going to stay in the 90s this episode. Why the fuck not?
I told you not to be stupid, you moron.
We're going to hit you with the Four Horsemen album spotlight as well. So we got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We got like a part 2 on deck after this episode, which is going to get more into the full catalog of Kool Keith and Ultramag. And, I know there's a lot of heads out there who really, check for their shit. They got like a cult following, so I know this is going to please a lot of our listeners. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Cult following is a definite way to describe both 100%. The group and this album. This is a cult classic. Like I said during the interview, in '93, it was one of the greatest years in hip-hop, and this album dropped, and at the time it did not get the proper accolades, and this episode is going to do that. It's going to put a spotlight on this particular album. We're going to go track for track with these guys. Heads up, they're unique guys. So we don't get the same stories as we did with J.Rue or the Beatnuts when we did album spotlights before. But nonetheless, they are very unique and they have some funny stories. And really go into this episode as knowing that it's going to be like a hangout session with Ultra. We're basically hanging out, listening to this album, hearing what they have to say about this album, along with a bunch of other things about, Ultramag. I mean, the interview goes on for hours, so we decided to give you some action-packed, extra-large Ultra experience. And the very next episode is going to be our tribute to the Ultramagnetic MCs and Kool Keith. So stay tuned. I can't wait to get into this. They are one of my favorites. I know you're going to dig it. Dre, let them know.
Guys, we could have certainly done this for Critical Beatdown, Funk Your Head Up, For Horseman. All have great tracks worthy of discussion. All of these records, very consistent. Ultramagnetic MCs. I know you guys are hyped for this one. First of all, the album covers alone, truly dope. Just looking at the photos, definitely makes you want to cop the record. I know, Aaron, you talked about that the last time we were speaking
no
with
doubt.
that. But one thing all of these records had, they had great skits. The sequencing made you listen from start to finish. That was that Ultramagnetic MC's little niche. And this one was the one crew that stood out to me. Really odd guys, but they also had like this strange pop appeal to it. You know, they learned how to like get the attention of college people. They learned how to get the attention of the true hip hop heads. They got the abstract ones. So Ultra was so ahead of its time. Keith was lyrically doing shit like nobody else. And let's be honest, Said G was ahead of his time sonically. Just remember the record Said was a part of. Criminal Minded, BDP, come on. Tim Dog, that was a big record, whether you guys listened to it that much back then. It's definitely matured. Said was also a major part of all the Ultramagnetic MC albums. So all those collective elements made this group and this album, the Four Horsemen we're going to be talking about, worthy of this album spotlight. It's really cool. We got to break bread with this group and we sat down with them, and you guys are going to love this one, trust me.
I was so shocked during the interview that I didn't say one fucking word.
This was Pimp sabbatical. Him and Bam were chilling for a few weeks before he returned.
Actually, for me, guys, this group represents the ultimate in underground classic hip hop. The nod to baseball and the Negro Leagues, very prevalent on the album. Stands out to me. You got the Chattanooga Lookouts hat on the cover. That's the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's who it is.
It
Stood out to me every time.
Good memory.
And then again, we talked. You guys brought it up. The covers, the album covers alone make you buy the album. And listen, when we were kids, man, in our teens and stuff, the cover meant everything. If the cover was whack, you're not buying the album. If you're looking for underground hip hop and somebody looked whack on the cover, you're not buying the album. Ultramagnetic always had the cool ass covers that drew you in, and then when you listen to it, you're never disappointed. They had 3 bangers on this album that I listen to this day. Raise It Up, 3 Brothers with Checks,
2.
I'm sorry.
You're giving away too much money, Aaron.
Yeah.
2 Brothers with Checks and a 1-2-1-2 on the playlist to this day. Classic shit forever. These guys are innovators. Let's give it up. Ultramagnetic. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Want to earn a chance at winning our A Tribe Called Quest box set? Simply post yourself with our new Marauders t-shirt, coffee mug, or any new item from our store, and you'll be entered to win. And if you don't have one of our 2 amazing new shirts, they're now on sale in our online store when you visit takeitpersonalradio.com. And if you enter promo code ULTRA, you'll even save 15% off your order. We still got plenty more to discuss, like Kutmaster Kurt, Black Elvis, and Said and Keith's brand new Ultra album.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 special guests. We have your rap group's favorite rap group, if I will. I mean, this is probably one of the most innovative and influential groups to ever grace the mics. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're talking to. When you think of the golden era of hip-hop, the pioneers, you have to think Ultramagnetic MCs. And we have my man Said G and Kool Keith on the mic. How you doing, guys?
How you doing?
There's so much we want to talk about. We kind of want to go really quick of how you guys formed. I know it was in the 80s, but really you two went to school together. I know there was different members kind of weaving in and out throughout the years until you dropped on Next Plateau. But give us a quick breakdown of how Ultra really became Ultra.
Well, it started with Keith, because I was in basketball a lot, and I was DJing as a hobby. And Keith was working up with my brother in Keyboard Money Mike. And, you know, I was a DJ, and Keith and who he was working with, they needed a DJ, so I started DJing for them. And, you know, the rap started changing, because when Keith was first coming to the studio, my brother's little 4-track studio, rap was in a stage where they was using commercial jingles, you know. So Keyboard Money Mike was prominent because, you know, he was very musical and he can play all those jingles. You tell him the jingle, he'll play it. But then a thing happened in rap, you know, MC Shan dropped the bridge, and then, you know, the Roxanne, and those were using samples. So the overall commercial jingle theme was out the window, and it was now back to the streets. That's where I came in, because like Mike was just musical, so Keith wanted like a harder production, you know, less music, more drums. So that's when I started taking over and learning how to produce from Mike, you know, just basic stuff, how to use the machine, you know, stuff like that. But that's how we basically formed it. Then Keith came up with the name, and the rest was that.
Where'd the name come from? How'd you come up with that?
Ultramagnetic. I just, you know, we was out there, you know, we was just looking for a name. Everybody was, you know, different names back in the days. Everybody had like regular names, so we was just trying to come out with a futuristic name. So I just named the group Ultra, and then I said magnetic. Magnetic, the highest form to attract. Ultra higher, and then magnetic to attract. So it kind of was a good name because it crossed with sci-fi and all the, you know, all the elevation we was doing, the big words and universal stuff. And it was like, you know, back then I was watching the Transformers on TV, and they had all the, you know, Megatron, you know, so Ultramagnetic fell right into the spot.
Now, after Said kind of left being the DJ and went more into production, tell me about the story. You guys almost had Showbiz as your DJ, is that correct?
Me and Showbiz used to make mixtapes like echo chamber tapes and stuff like that. Then, you know, everybody in the Bronx was like living close by each other. So, you know, that was like, that could have been so easily he was going to be a DJ. But I think he had a lot of stuff to do. So, you know, he was more staying in the Bronx and doing what he did. You know, sometimes Showbiz would be, he would be doing some music sometimes, and then he'd fade into something else or something. But most of the time he was doing music, but I think, you know, he was traveling in and out of town, so he didn't have time, I think.
Yeah, he was involved in another lifestyle.
In the street game.
Yo, you want to buy some toothbrushes, man? This some real fly personal hygiene equipment I got here, man. And I got a hell of a hairdryer over here, too. Check it out.
And that's how DIT Studios came about. Said, let me ask you this, because you obviously, most people know, well, I shouldn't say most people, the people that are true hip-hop aficionados know that you are very much an intricate part of Criminal Minded, which came out in 87. Before we kind of get on that, Critical Beatdown came out in 88, right? I mean, that's pretty much like two bona fide classics. I mean, if you're talking about the blueprint of the golden era, those two albums people immediately go to. What I'm curious to know, though, is when was Critical Beatdown actually created? I know it came out in 88, but was it something that was done years prior? And how close was it to the work with Criminal Minded?
It was done in 88, but the thing what happened was we had did so many singles and promos that when it came time to, when Next Plateau finally said, you know, do an album, if we had put all the singles and promos on there would have been no new music, you know. So that's why it was all new. You know, we just started recording because we used to just pump out singles, and if it wasn't a single, it was a promo. You know, from Bait to the Chuck Chill Out promo to Awesome 2. I mean, we had so many promos that people like.
The brain is all tired, nothing to do while our beats are mine. Just chill out. The ultramagnetic, supersonic, economical, gospel addict goes chillin' tonight with Chuck Chill Out.
And then we had, you know, B-sides, so it would have been no new music. So it was all new.
Now, being on Next Plateau, how was that sharing like a label with someone like Herbie Lovebug and Salt and Pepper? I mean, did they have the vision of always trying to create these mega groups with big success, commercial crossover, and then here comes Ultramag, you know, they're putting out more underground sound, changing shit up. How did that go as far as you're concerned with how they were handling you? I mean, I know it was Uptown Management, but Next Plateau as a label, I mean, they were doing like old school, like, you know, B-boy anthems, whether it was C-Bank or, like I said, Salt and Pepper. So, like, where did you guys feel like? Did you fit in? Did you not fit in?
Yeah, we fit in, but, you know, I later was on Eddie's staff at Next Plateau. But, and that's when he started revealing things to me. And he was honest. He said, I basically signed you guys because y'all was so hot on the street that all I had to do was just get the record in the stores. So there was no need to really promote or anything. You know, y'all guys sold your own records. So, you know, when it came to promotion, I knew really of the commercial stuff. And that's why I put all the promotion in Salt and Pepper. I really didn't get you guys. I knew the beats were incredible and stuff like that, but I didn't get you guys. So, you know, he said his son used to tell him about us and stuff like that. But every label we signed to, they basically just shipped our normal amount of units, and it was like they made their money, you know, and that's all they was concerned with. They wasn't concerned about taking the group to another level.
Right. So before we get into this new era of when you guys kind of made some critical tracks, Jay mentioned the Criminal Minded album. Now, we had KRS-One on here, and we talked very lengthy. I want you to kind of clear up the rumors about the folklore, you know, when creating Criminal Minded. Did you or did you not mysteriously slide a reel of Marley's drum samples, which kind of opened up a new world for you?
I had put it this. I had break beats before Marley Marl even knew what a break beat was.
Ah, shit.
Okay,
there it is.
Well, that's what made it comical. Chris, if you know Chris by now, Chris is...
He likes the story.
Yeah, he's a sensational storyteller, and he likes to rile people up. He's always like to rile up Marley, you know? Right. So he was just saying it to get under their skin. First off, I was working. I had no time just to be lurking around Power Play Studio for no reason. I mean, that's, you know, that I had to pay for a SB12 out of my own pocket. So, I mean, how do I do that lurking around Power Play Studio?
Yeah.
Stealing reels of breakbeat samples that I already have.
Thanks for that clear up. Yeah, I was always in that mindset of how it went down. So I kind of created my own scenario there. So
this has got to be one of the only shows in the country where you got both sides of the story from both from
the story,
the originals. Yeah,
there's so much I want to talk about, but before we get to like the next era, Critical Beatdown. I think this is an album that initially, when it first came out, and I don't want to date myself, but it seemed like it took some people a certain amount of time to get it.
Say what? We the Piper hell with childish rhyme. Cause the jam is just moving. The crowd is steady moving. To a supersonic pace with high the stupid bass. With some pep in the step. Cause the beat is so funky, the pace is well kept. Cause
I don't know if that had to do with the label or just promotion, what have you. But when it came out, when you finally put this record together, did you know that it was going to leave such an impression and become so influential because of the way you are very cognizant of how you guys produced the album, how you guys started to rhyme, where it was very, very unorthodox compared to what was currently out at that time?
We didn't know. Like, we didn't have a destiny towards Critical Beatdown. It came out how it came out, and it ended up how it ended. It was just funny. We went through maybe 1 or 2 bad records before we put out that album, but that album became, whatever it became, the sensation, and all the way to Rolling Stone's top 50 album every year.
Which is crazy.
And we didn't know. Top 100 for years and years.
And the reason why it took a while to catch on was, I don't know if you remember, we were one of the last groups at that time to have a video. We never had any video.
Right.
I was just about to ask you that. I don't remember a video for that album, and you had some bangers on there. Like the one that really caught my attention, where I discovered you, was Ego Trippin'. I think I heard it on a mixtape or something. I didn't even know who it was. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I gotta find it, and then finally found it, and I'm like, I don't even know who this is, but it's great. Because there's no video, it's not on Yo MTV Raps.
This is what I'm saying. We were so hot on the street that Eddie was just content with just putting it out and let it do what it do. You make money that way. He was making money without spending money. So it wasn't until Uptown came in and said, "Come on, you gotta give these guys a video, man." I mean, everybody has a video. They don't put out 10 singles and no video. Like you said, no one knew how we looked.
Right.
People probably learned how we looked through the record.
The cover is great.
Yeah, the liner notes, all that is how people saw you guys.
People recognized us through the album cover.
Yeah, you buy it straight up looking at the album cover. I know when I was 14, I see that album cover, I'm buying it.
Now, Keith, real quick, on that particular record, Ease Back, you go off something like amazing on there. Like, great vocal samples throughout that track. People have sampled through the years, but even going back now, there's like so many gems that no one's even touched. So talk to me, is that one particular track on that record where you feel like you almost kind of carved your lane as this lyricist that kind of went in a different direction?
Cause I want it like that, I got it like that, I have it like that, I need it like that, it's better like that, I made it like that, I bought it like that, I'm living like that. For you whack MCs who go on the mic and blow on the mic and perpetrate frauds and making mistakes like an amateur, but I'm a 20-year veteran and better than, including the rest of them. I chew more and spit out the best of them. One by one, I'm teaching my son to ease back. Ease back. Ease back.
I think Housing Things. I went off on Housing Things.
And said, same questions. I know that whether you were influenced by the Bomb Squad or the Bomb Squad was influenced by you, I know PE released Nation of Millions earlier that year. I mean, did you have the grunt sample that was in reverse like Edge of Panic, or was that off their album?
Well, what happened is we had it and we reversed it, but they came out with their album first.
Right.
And since Public Enemy was using our samples, we said, hey, let's just use this.
All right, so because I thought I heard Flavor in the background with the go,
yeah,
but
that's why we use it.
I hear you.
we had the go on there. We said, hey, well, let's keep the go.
Yeah.
I don't have to go. So,
because back then it was like whoever put it out first, it was like a whole misnomer. No one knew. They were like, all right, it's cemented. It's the first listens, right to say it's theirs creatively. So,
yeah. But what made it funny was we thought we were being clever by reversing it. We was like, hey, we reverse, because you had that reverse function. So we was like, if we reverse it, and then we heard it with the go, and it was like,
yeah, that was dope for sure.
It was funny. I mean,
great minds think alike.
Trevor used to go to record companies and just Trevor was good at just I wouldn't say stealing. He was just borrowing people's albums before they come out, and Trevor would have all the Def Jam stuff. And one time we was just riding down the highway before they came out, the blueprint of their stuff. We was listening to like My Uzi weighs a ton, and we was like, this before we was out before them, but when they was coming out, we was like, who is this coming out? Like, Trev had like a good, we was listening to, stuff that was coming out on that first album that like, I think they had that single out. What's that?
Yeah,
but
Public Enemy #1.
Yeah.
Second phase of them. So we was like, we didn't ask to hear it. Trev would always get in the car, in the limo. We riding down the turnpike. He said, check this out. Let's y'all check these out. We listening to Weighs a Ton, all kinds of stuff. We was like, oh, these guys, it's just like us, but they're a military version of us. Right. So we was like, that was the only thing with us. We was on Next Plateau, and we reached national slowly because Eddie and them was distributing region by region, and they was more dropping national with Def Jam. So eventually we got across country and around America. So they kind of more had better distribution.
Yeah. I think you guys could have been label mates at one point. Ain't that right, Sid?
Well, we was there.
Ain't that right, Sid?
Yeah, a couple of times. See, I don't regret anything me and Keith did in the industry. There are no artists who've done by themselves with no. See, even though Uptown was managing us, they didn't get us any deals. We got all our deals ourselves.
Yeah.
We've always got deals ourselves. But the one thing I do regret, and Keith was the first to point it out, is when we chose Uptown over Def Jam. Of course, Lyor, Lyor wanted us he really liked the group. And his idea was to pull us off of Next Plateau, and especially after we released Funky.
Right.
He was going crazy. He was like, that's a hit record.
Yo, what's up, Kool Keith? Yo, what up, Set J? Yo, what's up, Trav?
What's up, Set, man? What's over there? He's ready to get busy.
Yo,
Keith, you know what? I like this beat you brought over.
Told you about it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take it into my ultra laboratory and hook it up.
Yo,
but
I bought a band. Sam is on trombone. He's going hard, back-to-back notes. Get with it. Take off your coat, meditate. Let your brain compel, just think. As the beat excel to your eardrums. Core cells to numb and freeze. While I break off an ease, real smooth. Combine the piano. My voice nasal, no soprano is needed. To get overheated and burn. While the techniques turn for the UL, the T, the R-A. You gotta copy, watch the record play, fight more. Spin it every day, you wake up and try to make up a rhyme that fear me. And let me tell you straight, I know you hear me. And when I'm on the stage, you just cheer me. Up another level, down below, I'm throwing with the devil in a cage. I'm on the rampage. You need another? Wanna know my age? Psych.
That's a hit record, and it's just going to waste, he says. And we signed with Uptown, and that was the one mistake that if I had to do it over, I went there.
We had a lot of tension because we had a big meeting of them trying to get us off Next Plateau. That was the big meeting.
No, that was, you skipped. That was with Mercury.
Mercury, that's right. Yeah.
With Uptown.
But it was, I think Lyor talked to Eddie, right?
No. Andre Eddie.
Oh, Andre, that's right, Andre.
I was talking to, what's his name? Tony Anderson at Polygram at Mercury.
Oh, okay.
So how was it with Harrell, and was Puffy there at the time as a protege? I mean, how was it just kind of like with that particular label?
Puffy was an intern.
Yeah.
Their big artist was Heavy back then, right?
Yep.
Was there any animosity? Because, there's a lot of relation between Russ, Def Jam, with the subliminal shot, if you will, at Run-DMC. Was there any discussion or tension that you felt in those meetings or prior because of those words?
No, when we first put Eagle Trippin' out and we had a big show at Union Square, Russell Simmons was buying me and Keith drinks at the bar.
So it never ever came up in conversation? I mean, you guys went after like the titans of hip hop.
Simple back and forth, the same old rhythm that a baby can pick up and join right with them, but the rhymes are pathetic. They think they copacetic, using nursery terms, at least not poetic.
It was no disrespect. It was just like two basketball teams coming together to have a game, It wasn't like we said they was garbage or something. We just came at them.
I thought DMC said I love the record. DMC said I love.
He's the true dude though.
He said I love that record, man. I mean, that was the only record we went at Run-DMC was with. That was the only record. I mean, it was like that album was still battling more MCs than ever on that album. Run-DMC just happened to be the beginning of Eagle Trip. That was it. But we had more, the album we was battling the Titans. We was going against the Titans on that album. Everybody. That album, all throughout the album, even to Mo Love's scratch record was a battle with DJs.
To be honest, too, it just wasn't really a shot at Run-DMC. It was kind of preparing people for the vocabulary they was about to hear.
Yeah, you were there.
We was letting them know it was going to be no, basic language in there. So it was kind of like the predecessor where Running Them came across because they were, that Peter Piper was so hot, everybody knew it. So when you make the reference to it, everyone would know what you were saying.
What's funny about us as a group, not only with the Run-DMC, it was just that the records we made, everybody had disc records out back then and different kind of disc records, but it had brought a lot of jealousy upon us to this day. Like, you got a lot of groups hold animosity towards those records that what we wrote and said, and it's just the past, just music. Like said, it was good sportsmanship, but they still, to this day, still hold it as personal for some reason. A lot of people hold it personal. We made records just like everybody else made this records back and forth, but a lot of people took our records more personal later.
When they weren't personal. See, personal is like when Tim Dog went at
which you are part of
personal.
Chris went after the Juice Crew, Roxanne Shante ain't, steady sucking.
I finally figured it out, a magic mouth is used for sucking. Roxanne Shante is only good for steady fucking. Jesse Shannon Marley Marl is really only bluffing. Like Dougie Fresh said, I tell you now you ain't nothing.
Those were disrespects. We just said the hell with childish rhymes. You see what I'm saying? That's not like saying they're not good. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Just elevation.
But in all fairness said, you are a part of two of the craziest disc records in the history of hip hop. So for you to say this and put out The Bridge Is Over and Fuck Compton, I don't know, man. You got to think like, you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest, Fuck Compton, Tim came up with the title, but the whole idea of going after them was a guy who had left Uptown Management. His name was Kurt Woodley. He was working over at Sony, and I was shopping Tim, and he said, I'll tell you how to get Tim a deal. Have him diss the motherfuckers from the West Coast, and I'll get you a demo budget. So we came in with the rougher Fuck Compton, got us a demo budget. We went in the studio, did it, and the rest was history.
There's the seed right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, one thing I noticed as we start to wrap up the Critical Beatdown talk, when you listen to the album today, the sound quality, and thinking back just 35 years ago now, the sound quality is excellent, and a lot of albums, even into the mid 90s, had sound quality issues. This album sounds excellent. The bass hits in the car, it's crisp. It sounds great. I know Paul C was engineer for a lot of this, and had maybe some hands in some production. Tell us a little bit about how that came together with you, having Paul C in the studio as an engineer and so forth.
Well, we were always fortunate to work with good engineers when it came to the album, because we had enough bad engineers. We could go through a lot of stories, but the first engineer we worked with, well, he was incredible, but he committed suicide. He's the one who engineered Eagle Trippin'. That was Bill Hemme. He worked at Calliope. Calliope became famous from Eagle Trippin', and then Stetsasonic started working in there. They did Gold Stetson in there. Then Milk is Chillin'. Calliope started blowing up. But Bill Hemme. Then we went to Paul C after Bill committed the suicide.
Bill was the Chinese guy, right?
He looked Chinese. He was from Canada, actually. Paul was... I was actually doing a project for Aaron Fuchs at Tough City. So when I went to 1212, me and Paul just started showing each other's our different techniques that you cannot find in any SB12 manual. You see what I'm saying? Like, Paul showed me how to truncate quickly. I showed him how I had all these effects when there were no effects in that machine, echoes and keys and all types of stuff that I did, just off guerrilla tactics, and we just bonded from there. Then he proceeded to start showing me how to work a board at the studio and, work the patch bays and all of this. And then, he started working with him, he started showing me, it got funny because it'd be certain times like Aaron Fuchs, he was like a budget record label. So he would do something like he'll be paying Paul a low hourly rate, and he'll be, and I'll be basically getting change. So me and Paul would be doing like a half-ass job, and then Paul will say, "Come on, Seth, we got to do a little better than this." So our names are going to go on this, so we got to make it at least decent. And then it just grew, and we just started doing things. And, Paul was funky, and that's why he has production on the album. He helped with a lot of things. He understood the direction of the group without even telling, because the whole idea of Ultra was ultimately for Keith to do his soul and I to work my way up there. But you see, that was the whole idea. Like, Ultra was like the house, you know what I'm saying? Like the foundation. That's how the whole intent always was. And Paul understood that without even telling them. But
I think so few people had drum machines themselves that if you had 2 years head start, you understood the limited sample time, how to speed that up on 45 speed, all the breakdowns and all the intricacies that made editing inside the actual, what they called a MIDI studio at the time. But, inside of the machine, you learned all these little tricks. And it was even 2 years head start was enough. So guys like Paul C, people like you said, I mean, it was really something special.
But SB12 only had 5 seconds to make sound.
But that's the second.
That's the second version. I think the first one had like 1.5.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I would take that 1.5 and make it sound like it had 10 seconds in there.
Yeah.
By speeding stuff up, I actually just chopped everything up and recreated.
Yeah.
And made it sound like the record. See, that's what a lot of producers can't do. They can't chop up the elements and make it sound like a fluent loop.
Right.
See, that's an art. if they chop it up, you will listen to it and say, yeah, that's the record, but it's chopped and it's kind of choppy.
Yeah. I think when you have limitations, you learn to be your most creative. When you got these whole walls of equipment, it's endless. You can tweak a snare for 5 hours. It's just not worth it. So,
Well, I'm glad we touched on Paul C, because I think I would be remiss if we didn't mention him at least once. People kind of compare him to like the early Dilla before, like a guy who was just very much ahead of his time. But before we jump to the next album, you mentioned Aaron, Tough City. I got to ask you, can we get the clarification? These records here, I don't know if you guys could see, right?
Oh, yeah, I see them. Basement tapes.
What in the fuck happened? Because I know there was a lot of different stories. How did these come about?
Check it. This said G bringing you the Ultramagnetic Basement Tapes, Volume 1.
The place to be in the Beatdown Bronx. Number one short shot. Coming at you live, wicked and wild. Some funky fresh on the human being. This is just your thing, I'm going to ride. Short shot.
Those are just tracks that we weren't using. We were just sitting around. So Aaron said, hey, let's do some novelties. And, those were just novelty albums.
Because these came out in maybe 94, 95. This was before, I think, Horseman album, right? One of these came out in 96, actually. New York was What Is Funky. Smack My Bitch Up. Now, did this come out? Get actually released after you guys after Keith was sampled on the Prodigy?
Yo, I know what you mean, but just like further you got. Oh, fuck it. I'm like Steve the Wild Man. Fuck the bitch that has no style, man. I'm mega pimp, the biggest pimp in New York. Everywhere I go, you follow where I walk on Madison. I pull a hole in my gold voice to show my mansion. My custom Rolls Royce, I'm large. Let me call up the president, or Michael Jackson, or Frank Sinatra. With $200 million, baby, I gotcha. A hot dog. Now take a Coke and a Frank. And if you think I'm a fool, what the fuck do you think that? You thought like Nelly, with a big belly, walking around smelling pissy and smelly.
No, it actually came out before because...
Well, I know the record obviously came out way before, but I'm saying this vinyl itself, was it something that was
reissue
up and done to, I guess, jump on the hype of the Smack My Bitch Up?
No, that was just put out. But here's the story with what you're talking about. That record, Smack My Bitch Up, which is on that album.
Yeah.
We had sent that to Tim Westwood in London.
Okay.
So now, when Prodigy used Keith, Tim Westwood made a sample claim.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah, and he called me and said, Cedric, they're calling me from the label. They're saying somebody said they had the rights to it. I said, Eddie, that's Tim Westwood. He bootlegged the record without permission. Tell him to shut up or he will be sued. And that was the last you heard of Tim Westwood.
Oh, sure.
Was there ever any compensation for all that?
No, Tim Westwood. That's what Tim Westwood did. He would take your stuff early. Like he asked us to send some stuff over. We sent it over, and then he brought us out there to do some shows. And people was asking us to do those records, and they weren't like records. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So they was like, yo, when you going to do MC Champions? What are you going to do? How you know about MC Champions?
That's crazy.
He was just playing them, and then he bootlegged them and put them out and made his little money, And, see, people like Tim Westwood, that's like the bad side of music. When you talk about the Paul C, those are like, the gods of the industry. Then you talk about the Tim Westwood, he's like the filth of the industry. You see what I'm saying?
The original Vlad.
Yeah, after all of that,
that's good.
After all that bootlegging, we'll get out to London, and he can't get us 30 seconds on the air to promote a show.
Right.
Basically,
The puppet master, as they say.
So here's a segue.
Say, hey, you guys, you got 5 minutes, plug it, get it in and get it out, after all that pimping. But when someone just has no kind of conscience, a dirt bag, this is the type of stuff you get from dirt bag.
I'm ready, and now it's my turn to build, uplift, get swift, then drift off, and do my own thing, switch up, change my pitch up, smack my bitch up like a pimp.
So let's jump to 92. You're on a new label. Keith, I want you to tell me right now, in your honest opinion, when you see this album, what do you think? Because I'm going to tell you from a fan standpoint what I think, but I want to know from you, the guy who created this album, what is it that you think?
It's funny. I listened to Funk Your Head Up the other night. I think people had wanted that album to be close to Critical Beatdown, but Funk Your Head Up, it was another route to a major, but it wasn't the sound. What happened with Funk Your Head Up, I liked it after a while. I listened to it in my headphones the other night, really, played it, and it was sounding so clearly mixed, and, funk radio and the skits. And I think Funk Your Head Up was our first album of, Critical Beatdown didn't have too many skits. I think Funk Your Head Up was our first album with skits, connecting skits like a story. And after a while, I started to appreciate that album. I was like, wow, it's not a bad album. This is a classic, kind of, with the porno star and fucking cards on there. I think that's the album that made everybody mad at us because we was just so a rebel on that album. Plucking cards went at every artist. I think Plucking Cards really made the industry mad at us because we was more outcasts, because we the original outcasts from the group Outcasts. We are the original outcasts because, we wasn't clicked up with, when you had, everybody was kind of clicked up, the Boogie Monsters, everybody, and Zed Love X, MF Doom, the Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, and Busta Rhymes and the leaders of the new school, they was clicked up. And then, you had the Fresh Press, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, whoever Houdini was on the LL, and all the artists from that usually on those Fresh tours, Kid and Play, blah, blah, blah. So we was kind of by ourselves. Because Fresh was Public Enemy and all the Slick Rick, W Fresh. So we didn't click up with anybody. We was one unit by ourselves. We didn't have we wasn't a part of no clique or none of the 3, 4, 5 cliques they had. So I think people was mad that we didn't click up with anybody. We was just a neutral group. Only we had was Tim and KRS, but we was neutral. I think people were mad at us that we were so strong that we didn't, and that hurt us to this day, I think, even with the shows and, because mostly a lot of those people that are still doing those shows are still the people from those cliques and those people that handled their business. The Funk Your Head Up played a big part in the structure of where we had took a stand in ourselves of defense in our album. They were so jealous of that album. Those are the like you said, Stock Job Jockin' Me Girl, all the records of Pat singing and, said we did, even the production with Solid Productions.
But hold up, Keith. See, look. See the songs he mentioned? Plucking Cards, Stop Jocking Me, Funk Radio. There's no Solid Production on those tracks. See, That's why I didn't like the album. If they didn't see how I said certain Paul was a dope producer. Right. Solid Productions was trash. They destroyed a lot of the records.
They only did one song.
You forgot they put elements on a lot of tracks. They fucked up MC Champion, that cartoon shit.
Power compactor, brain distractor, dropping a bomb right in your anal connector, sector, vector, the lyric inspector, X-ray vision, powerful vector, lector, mector, Igor. Yes, y'all. You don't stop the rhythm, the drop, the hit, the top, to make the swing a pop as I flow. Pick up the micro.
They fucked up a lot of records with that cartoon shit.
Well, I mean,
if you took that shit off, I would have liked the album. But I had listened to it as a whole. I
I kind of blocked what everybody did out. Like, I could listen to the album all the way through without fast forwarding. Like, it's just the skits were so dope on the album. You listen to it, like, the skits make you forget about different types of production. It just, the skits were so dope on that album, the way that the tracks connected like a electric cord to each other. That's what I was thinking about the best skit album.
Avery Feature Hall, Lincoln Center, José Luis Perales en concierto.
We was the first using, all those different skits, the Kung Fu and the PBS radio shows and, real news and all that stuff, the skits. And that stuff spurring from Automator to all kinds of groups using those kind of things on their records, from anything from television, PBS, Kung Fu. I didn't hear no Kung Fu on no records and at that time. I didn't hear no news. I didn't hear the little sounds on Octagon and the skits. Like, after that album, it started a wave of people say, "Oh, we could put television on records. We could put space programs on records. We could put, the beginning of Lost in Space. We could put the beginning of a Kung Fu record on a record." It was no records with none of that stuff out.
Right.
People don't want to say nothing about it.
Right. I think also if you were a latchkey kid and you watched a lot of TV, whether it was Kung Fu theater, whether it was all this shit that was on after school, I mean, if you grew up that way, all that stuff represents inside the rhymes, skits. So I really do think that plays a very, very big part for those creative minds that do shit like that.
Right. I mean, that album to me made people upset. Like, it was just we was going after everybody. It was a high lyrical performance record. And then slowing down to like smooth rapping and the girls and porno star and Stop Jocking Me and I Like Your Style. I think that was the most transitional, flexible lyrical record we did with, dope skills. Even the Mo Love on the 1 and 2 is a masterpiece. Like, Mo was a crafty DJ. Like, I didn't even hear no DJ do nothing like that, ever. No DJ, I don't care if you can go to the top of the line DJs across the country. For him to put a masterpiece together like that, I didn't hear nobody put a mix record together like that. I don't care from the top 5 DJs in the US, top 5 DJs in Europe, top DJs in Australia. I never heard a DJ put a record together like that. Never, ever in my life.
I think the album has a lot of great moments. You mentioned obviously the obvious joints, Bust the Facts. There's a lot of joints on here that you could say from a lyrical standpoint were fucking awesome.
Like 2 weeks ago, I swear, I was like, this album is slept on hard. It was dope. It was a sleeper. One thing they wanted to bury, the industry wanted to bury the album because of, honestly, Plucking Cards was like, they wanted to tuck that record under the rug. Like, I mean, the whole album, basically, it was just, we was just so dynamic and flexible.
Did you guys see a crazy bump in sales once you remix Papa Large, with Beat Miners remix Papa Large? Because people probably thought initially when they heard that joint, and it may have been the first time a lot of people heard Ultra, they must have thought that song was on Funk Your Head Up, and the original version happened to be on it. Did you see a spike in sales at that time?
Well, the original Papa Large was in none of the mixes. It wasn't even the Beat Miners. It wasn't even the one, the Solid Productions. It was... The original one was, we used Batman from Prince. Like, the original Papa Large, I mean, nobody would want to, they would fucking pull their hair out if they heard.
I wouldn't think using Batman was a good choice, but I hear you.
No, Batman dance.
I know.
Look, that's what got us the record deal was that song.
Really?
The problem was that Prince wanted 100% of the song. That's the only reason we weren't able to use it.
Of course he did.
He didn't want 50. He didn't want 60. He didn't want 70. He didn't want 80. He didn't want 90. He wanted the full gamut.
I always thought that Batman track that he did was terrible, but, that's just because I was...
That's the way we did it.
Yeah, we chopped. I chop.
So is that available anywhere on someone's cassette tape somewhere?
No.
It was hard to find, basically. Yeah. The
Keith was riding it, and he just, it was like a masterpiece. We did it in Philly, and it was just record labels were going crazy over it. It was like, oh man, we had like the West Coast Polygram and another label. I think they all wanted that record.
That's crazy, man.
Because it was basically Ultramagnetic magic. Keith just showed up in Philly. He just came and he had the Prince record in his hand. And he was like, yo, said, hook this shit up.
But I'm here to tell you, there's something else. The afterworld.
I chopped it up, did a little variation, made it a little spicy, funky, and I think that's why Prince was really kind of, hard driven on it. He didn't want to so-called be shown up on it, I think.
Right.
Personally.
A better interpolation of what he created.
Yeah, I got no proof of that. That's just my personal belief.
I got that.
And he killed it, and everyone went crazy over it. Like, so when they was like, we can't clear it, we can't use it, I didn't want to touch it anymore. And that's when they let Solid Productions do it, and I almost wanted to cry in the Solid Productions version. And thank God for the Beat Misers came in and saved it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
How did that go down?
Well, that was one of the finally good things they did at Mercury after forcing Solid Productions in. They, he went out and found the Beat Misers, and
people may think it's a different group.
Yeah, the Beat Misers might be like the Christmas version of the Beat Miners.
Evil D's with them, right?
Yes.
It's the Walt, Evil D. Who else?
Black Sheep Cave was coming out where you could get with that, and the upright bass thing was starting to happen, and then it was like a right time, and it was like they came out with that, and then it was like when they made Papa Lars, like that was like that record fit right into the format of the upright bass was coming in, like all the records with the upright sound in them. So it was like that records jumped off, and it was just an upright craze going off. And then with Papa Lodge was so like a hard version of that upright bass type of stuff. And then the lyrics locked in together. It became a sensation smash. Papa Lodge was a smash because it went right behind you could get with this, you could get with that. So, but Papa Lodge was kind of mean jazz, it had like a melodic kind of gangster sound to it. Theirs were more like a club sound and more for the girls, but Papa Lodge was like more kind of mean, and it was a gangster upright bass kind of thing. So that's when everything was coming out. What Tribe Called Quest and Midnight Marauders. It was like an upright thing, I guess.
I got to say, I've actually played that song in a club that I was working at, and it worked great. So like I was a little confused because it was a very new style. It was a little slicker than most of the production that I got on other Ultramag records, but I won't lie, it worked very well in the club, and people were like, damn, who is that?
But then too, this showed how dope they were as producers, infusing the element of Ultramagnetic in it. All they did was took to give the drummer some beat, and they put elements on top of it. So that shows how dope they are. They said, oh, well, we're doing Ultra? Watch this.
Keith, real quick, did you always know that your mind could split like with alter egos to create like these different personas, or did you just feel like that was a natural evolution with Ultramag in general? Or, I mean, did you ever kind of think in your head, hey, one day I might want to split off and become, being that you were into all these like TV shows, karate, like, did you think, hey, I could be these alter egos and create different side projects?
No. Well, when I was with Ultra, I was writing solo records still. I mean, I had my mind made up on what we do with the Ultra group, and I had my solo stuff, and my original solo was Rhythm X. I had a lot of Rhythm X stuff written, and I still had Ultramagnetic stuff written at the same time.
Well, it's my time. Chill out the rhyme, it's the whack and roll. But I get nice, use the mic when I'm bragging bold. On W mega to the L to the SO. Kicking them C's in the face like Jim Kelly. While Keithy's the cold cuts and DJs from the belly. And a sandwich cooked up, baked up and wrapped up. Aluminum foil. MCs, I gotta boil. Bake, burn, heat them. Eat them, chop them, beat them. Down to the sound as it flows in your brain though. I look at MCs, they walk away in my brain glow. A UFO object unidentified. I'm taking your skull on a journey to another ride.
I mean, it wasn't a lot to write with Ultra because Sad had a verse and I had a verse. Sad had a verse and I had a verse. So I had so much energy to writing other songs. I had a lot of solo records I had written and prepared for my solo stuff. So I was doing two things at the same time. I was still writing Ultra stuff and still writing my solo stuff and, still writing in general, and it was weird, I used to hang with Greg Nice and stuff, and Greg Nice and Smooth, and we eat Chinese food and said hang out with, it was kind of wild, the groups hung with different people, Craig G used to come up to the Bronx, and, as a group, we don't hang together, but we get together for the shows and stuff, go try and go practice, go work on the beats, go to the studio together, but my off time, I'm hanging with Greg Nice and Smooth, it's a story I could tell you, like, we would hang out so much. And I went to their house one night. We went to Smooth B's crib in Fordham Road or somewhere. And we hung out all the time eating Chinese food, drinking Old English and everything. Greg Nice to tell you. So I used to hang with them more than my group. And we would go up there and they would play beats. And, they were my friends. And, what's funny? I could have been on, that record they did. I supposed to have been on it to this day. That third verse. That one go. The one to go. Spring again. So I couldn't get on it because
funky for you.
Yeah, I was so hard. And then my friends, and they was like, yo, you won't get on the last verse, we go in the studio tomorrow. So we like regular friends. I said, I don't know, I might could see. I don't know if I'm gonna get on it. I think about it, I call y'all. That record,
great record.
A couple weeks later, it was on the radio.
Yeah, man.
Red was spinning it. Spring again.
Yeah. Keith, you should have been on No Delaying. That would have been
what happened was I didn't get on it because at that time I felt that was too hard to get on it. Not that the record was soft. They just was my friends. They did the song and they said they didn't get mad at them. They said, we're gonna do it tomorrow. You coming down, put your verse down. I said, I don't know, I might check it out. I might get on it. Cause we was all writing and they was all writing in the house to the record. I never jumped on it. And I heard that shit on the radio. The little loop, but I was like thinking it was going to affect my career because I was doing so much. We was so hard. But maybe like now, like with the differentiation of me getting those jobs and features and stuff and jumping on all kinds of stuff, Octagon, I would have probably did it. But at that time, we was full in the mode of rugged sounds, getting on rugged stuff. So, like I said, I hung with them and, they always did their records, Stick Up Kids Without the Tax, and Greg was with Tila Rock and, Annihilating. So we was always in the mode of tough records. Mm-hmm. They had more records that were milder because Smooth B was more like smooth and stuff. So, but we would hang together. That's the funny thing about it. Like our music didn't, I did not hang with them to say, well, I'm harder than y'all. We can't drink beer together and eat Chinese food. We just hung together as regular friends.
Let me add this. This is something a lot of people don't know. When we signed with Mercury, it was a double album deal. It was Ultramagnetic, then there was supposed to have been a Kool Keith solo album. When we signed with Wild Pitch, it was supposed to have been an Ultramagnetic album, then a Kool Keith album. These were deals that were done. Matter of fact, we had asked for the release off of Mercury, but at Wild Pitch, Keith had actually gone into production on his solo album before we finally said, we want to be out of here with Stu, but that was always the intent of Ultra. Mm-hmm. See, that was always, like Keith said, that's why he always just stayed warmed up writing his solo stuff, A lot of people thought we was a group
that we broke up. We never broke them anyway. It was like ours had solo projects. Trev would do production on his own and make his tapes with his artists. Sad had artists. We had Ultramagnetic as one foundation group. Tim was a subsidiary. You know, he had MF911. I had a solo album. We were still breaking the stuff down into parts. Everything was parts. We was still Voltron as a big robot, and then we break down into parts. But the industry felt that we were not officially a group that stayed together, or, you know, so they took us out of their history of evilness and like what's going on now. That's what people figure, like, oh, they're not a complete group, so they don't deserve the Hall of Fame, or they don't deserve to be on maybe a show. You know, they'll book maybe all these other people that they consider together. Maybe they see me and Mo not together, Trev not together, Sam not together. But we are one. But the point is, they kind of got evil with it. They thought we were a group that just broke up.
You mentioned Wild Pitch. Let's get into this. So this is an album that is, I would say, many people's favorite Ultra. Despite how amazing Critical was, this is a true cult classic. And I think one of the reasons why it resonates so much with someone like myself is because it came out in '93, which is probably one of the best years hip-hop has ever seen. Ironically, you guys came out in '88, but you came out with Wu-Tang, Midnight Marauders. You came out with Doggy Style. So, I mean, right there, those are three albums that kind of changed the landscape of hip-hop in the early 90s, you know? So this album, not just being on Wild Pitch, but this album kind of got lost in the mix because you had so many albums that, that were basically getting the attention.
You talking about the Four Horsemen?
Yeah, so I want to get into Four Horsemen. First things first. Is the name pretty much homage to Flair and Anderson?
Woo! I dress myself in cashmere! Woo! 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 This stealing, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, Bischoff! You turn the camera off, and I'll be naked when you come back.
I also hear you talk about Ric Flair on the record, so I would hope that is an homage to the real Four Horsemen. Tully, Arn.
Well, he's not the real Four Horsemen. The real one was a book, but
back in the day, those were football players. Ric Flair, motherfucking man.
Four Horsemen. Let's get into it. I know you had said that initially it was going to be a Keith record, Checking My Style, See the Man on the Street.
No. We signed the 2-album deal. It was a Ultramagnetic album. The Keith album was supposed to come.
Those two joints that I just mentioned that were produced by Godfather Don, weren't they initially for the Rhythm X album that never came about?
No, that was for the Ultra album.
So that was always for the Ultra album?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I stand corrected. So let's get into this album because, again, this is probably many people's favorite. It's my favorite, and I gave you the reasons why it resonates so much with me. But this album felt good. It felt like you guys kind of were making the music you wanted to make. It felt like you guys had carte blanche to make the music you wanted to make. You didn't have a lot of people telling you what you needed to do. And not for nothing, I can't recall many albums that was a very baseball-influenced album. I mean, you gave many shout-outs. Forget just the Negro League with Gibson, Cool Pop Bell, but I mean, how many songs can you say that reference Bucky Dent or Sparky Lau? You know what I'm saying? Or Thurman Munson. I know you guys are baseball guys, but it was so unique and so refreshing to hear at that time that it still resonates. And as a baseball fan, you could see it in the background in my house. When I heard that album, it really changed things. I mean, it was you guys created your own lane, and you always did. And I know Keith mentioned a few times about not having affiliations and whatnot, but I think that's kind of what made Ultra so appealing. You guys didn't need the cosigns. You didn't need the affiliations. You weren't a part of the native tongues. You guys kind of stood on your own. And this album, I felt, was kind of like a coming out yet again and saying, hey, we are Ultra. and said you had a very different approach to this album lyrically. It sounds like when I hear Two Brothers with Checks, and then I hear your cadence on, say, Don't Be Scared, you made a conscious effort to sound a certain way on this album. And and like I said, this is my favorite album that you guys have done. I think you guys sound like you had the most fun making this album, and it comes out in the music.
Yeah, see, we was, like I said, from Mercury, it really irked me when they let Solid Productions ruin songs. Now, with the Four Horsemen, we were able to once again pick the people who we wanted to work with and, you know, do our thing without, you know, someone coming in and forcing, you know, outside elements on your stuff. And that's why the album, just from the first track, is just like when We Are the Horsemen come on, that's like another world.
As we search for black people and white people, seeking the world on the full horse of spacing. John, Penny, the robot, Dr. Smith, and Will Robinson.
I get super bionic, no my name's not Ventronic, but I'm 4HM, kicking flavor so steadily, so wickedy wicked, can I switch it, be switch it, I saw my troop last night, they said kick it, I got mega and cosmic, then I rolled a composite, I hit my mega meter, zoom back to outer space, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, the chain reaction, triggered the mass flow, then the rhyming got hyper, plus I knew what they like her, so I ripped it and rocket, frequencies in the pocket, 1 blast, 2 blast, yes, approximate, reading the chambers, the lights came on, infrared and exciting, most don't know what I'm saying, Galactica beams, 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 beams. Now it's dissect the atom, no I don't mean a phantom, molecules in the mix with lots of protons to handle, plus I'm feeling the workers, synchrotrons of the perker, when they're reaching their peaker, I'm a course of a surfer, we turn to the galaxy, the universe bothers me from the wild wild west, I have a spaceship mentality, when I chill at the planet, magnesium flips, so I shake up the Myolex, so what's left?
We are the horsemen.
Into your spaceship.
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 Random Silver.
And this is why I know it's always about where the producer does stuff at, cause See the Man on the Street, Checking My Style was all done at Godfather Don's house, right? Mm. We went to Power Play to mix the records, but the stuff at Godfather Don's house sounded better than the 48-track board Power Play.
Yeah,
so
he was great with the machines, that's for sure.
Yeah, we went with the Godfather Don's house versions.
I still have a few of his discs that we used to do some shit together. He used to work at a kid's clothing store, and I used to go meet him, and he and I were one of the few that had MPCs, and he used to slide me these discs, and they would just say, like, popcorn on it. And I'd flip it in, and just, now I know how to, like, create discs, but this dude's discs they were all fucked up. They weren't formatted properly. He didn't have, like, save all sounds. It was just like you had to load individuals, and I was like, is this guy fucking all over the place? But his shit was just so creative, you know?
Clarify that. When you got to load the sounds individually, that meant disc was fucked up.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to me. That's the one thing I hated about the MPC. When the disc get bad, you lose a couple of the sounds.
But you can get most of them back.
Yeah, individually.
Of course. It's crazy.
Why don't we do something kind of different? I want to go, since we have both of you on, I'm going to go track by track, each one of you. I want you to kind of tell me a little bit, maybe one or two things about that particular track, whether making it or a memory you have associated with that track off this album. Again, I want to focus on this album because I don't know if you guys truly understand the importance of this record. And we get so much fan mail and requests to talk about this album at great lengths that I kind of want to do this because I think it's such a great album and not many people give it the accolades that it deserves. So, said you kind of started off with We Are the Horsemen, how it began, right? Keith, Checking My Style. that was another Godfather joint. Tell me something about this particular track.
Yeah, you don't have to play this on a Tuesday night, but check this out. This is Sunday morning in church with the brother, the Godfather. Open up the testaments and let us read this. Well, I keep a style and tone, hold my job and microphone. Make my flow, show a rapper what I give him. Don't flex funky, yo, freaking honey, step back. Watch when I come, you scratch that kitty cat on top of that. Rappers know I'm X, slow down, watch me get stupid open. Dance for the ladies, I strip and Chippendales. Funky hypo, a technical, lyrics make computer with a brain that spins like King Capri. 33, drop a 45 down just like the first record. Rotate, my style, my rhyme, my game is dropping doodle lyrics. Make a brother say keep us out, damn I wanna hear it. Buy a copy tomorrow, kick his old tape. Take it back 2 times to smack his girl, let him go. Tell his uncle, brother, aunt, and cousin Bell. As I rock so well, spank and tell, check the beat. My style is so early, you couldn't catch it on my Vito. As I run and I stretch just like a rubber band, popping, stopping every rapper like a trooper on a turnpike. I'm long and stronger just like the Lincoln Tunnel. Father, pick up, check it out. Back, I switch wrists, I check, I know that. Boy, as I kick up, you proud of me, you know it's me. I got more muscle to flex than shoulder Jodeci. Take off them panties, I turn boys to men.
And checking my style, Return to Zero, it was just jazz, fusion. You know, Don made mean jazz, basically not happy jazz. He was making mean jazz where everybody else was making like happy jazz. You know, check my style was like kind of raw. You know, I like all of Don's jazz, especially that record was mean. You know, Don made mean jazz, like he fusion jazz.
Said, tell me about Two Brothers with Checks.
Here's the story about 2 brothers with big checks, pretty white Cadillacs, and it was fly from the south.
My wiki style is unbearable for this world and the planet, boy. I swing at the store, buy a lunch, play lacrosse. Super cat chasing rats with chemicals at the bottom. I give and go with enzymes, connections, I got them. One thing, 2 things, like Baba Blow Casey, Recto and Smecto. Go get my boy Lewis. Let's see Ben Grimm in his exoskeleton. He's pitching a fastball, you're swinging your miss, but 7 times away, clown. You're smelling the piss, dripping off of your forehead, rolling down to the Mexico. You're caught in a bit, truth. You thought you was flexible, exable. Montreal Expo, hypodermic, you turn it, you pick it up and you learn it. Now you're chilling with zinc as it kicks with the sodium. Pele came down just to sign some autographs. He laughed and he left, went to El Segundo. But Jesus, I'm baking my Philadelphia steakum. I got a hole in my pants, I said, oh, Assalamu alaikum. Got a new jacket, was breaking out to the training camp. I dance and dance and dance and dance and dance and dance and dance. Then I sat on the toilet, wrote a rhyming and on it. Now I'm spinning and winning, got the girlies up on it. Cause I'm kicking and sticking, finger popping and licking. Can you do me a favor? Can you go get the chicken? As you see, we're religion. When we're real, we're just easing up to Egypt and Pakistan. There's never no treason, cause we're 3 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey. 3 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey. 3 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey.
Trapping from Cooperstown, swinging like Don Hahn. Rhythm X in the batter's box. Firming like Munson, left foot I swing right. And change courses in dialogue. Regional Atlanta, Alabama, Savannah. I kick a rhyme like a ball to Indiana. Missouri, Kentucky, like then call me Bucky. Rogers, I'm nice, I float in space, wow. Dr. Smith, I'm dope, yo watch Sparky Loud. As I throw back a spitball, my slider and check back. The stadium's packed, bro, the people should get back. And walk to the plate, yo Jerry Grody. Pause, swing, swipe, I get them seized on my 3rd strike. My hot dog is done, I'm in the dugout, check it. I know I wreck shop, tip top, heads bop, heads drop. And many rappers can see now. Back to the plate, see the catcher, pitcher. You in the audience, man, you be the fan. Like Super Cat, dun dun da da. I play the field in New York and hit Jamaica. Like Giants, I roll like San Francisco, Harvey. No time for rats with cats and Bristol cream. I'm making moves, yo man.
2 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey. 2 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey. 2 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly. San Francisco, Harvey. 2 brothers with checks, where the cat is fly.
Yeah.
I'll take you to LA. Just turn off
styling, profiling, true like I'm Ric Flair in Cadillac. We got big checks in our banks on the street, yeah.
Picking up, swinging that bat like Joe Morgan. Catching that beat like Ray Foxy, Brooklyn. Catching them checks up at the Chemical.
We might cash them in Oakland, San Francisco, whatever. Pick up honeys in Cleveland with the game so damn clever.
As I roll like I'm Charlie Huff, kicking that ball down, the crowd is wild. Need the gas for a mile.
So let's roll out and cash them, buy a plane, fly to Paris. Make a record like this as we drive through the city. Crossware.
Brothers with checks, for the caddies fly. San Francisco, Harvey. Brothers with checks, for the caddies fly. San Francisco, Harvey. Brothers with checks, for the caddies fly. San Francisco, Harvey. Brothers with checks, for the caddies fly. San Francisco.
Two Brothers with Checks was just like it was an experience. It was what the record said. And Jay Henry, see, like I said, we always work with dope engineers. Jay Henry, who we work with on Funky, he actually engineered Two Brothers with Checks. And it was just, you know, it was an experience. It was dope. Keith killed it with dropping from Cooperstown, swinging like Don, you know, Don Hahn and Thurman Munson. It was fun again. It was fun recording it.
Plus, Two Brothers with Checks was kind of like the Skull Snaps with the George Clinton. It had like a different kind of sound to it. Like nobody would never, you know, it was slowed down and Mo put, you know, a lot of stuff was. That record was like a trail of fusion.
The next joint is, I think this is the debut, the lyrical debut of Godfather Don, and this is Raise It Up. Tell me about that record. It is a fan favorite, as you can imagine. It is. Keith scared a lot of people that went to college around this time.
Oh yeah.
I went to college. I'm even more stupid, Herb. I think a lot of people felt stupid for spending all this goddamn money to get that degree.
They still do today.
They never understood many people were so slow. My funky type of rhyme and my style is psycho. Complex Rex, my style go XX. I move around on beat, creating more styles, showing white boys, other kids my black styles. I kick lyrics like shoes right in your face. Walk up on the car, jack a spade, pluck the ace. I get slow off, down in, on in, flowing like I used to be on Critical Beatdown. I drop styles and ears, the public bite them. Now many went to school, so the dummies wouldn't write them. They say, yo Keith, yo cool, you using big words. I went to college, I'm even more stupid, Herb. Back on the scene to pull a lesson out, even if I have to pull a Blacksmith and Wesson out. I grab a hammer, stick a nail in that little crack. Tame the monkey, show the hummingbird how to act. I get atomic, hypo, galactica. Word to mom, I'm in my own world. Galaxy rays, powerful.
Your money grip, now this ain't no ego trip. Your money grip, now this ain't no ego trip. Now back in the days when we used to use elevation, and then the people said, what's up with Ultramagnetic? Yo, they sound kinda crazy. Kool Keith is a cycle, Said G is a scientist. The lyrics are hypo, creating a fusion of sampling hits. We all came down just to be distinctive. Some rap and some left, but they dance to the music. What's your orchestration? And with funky prevention, it was different in black, and it caused devastation. Got a new bag, signed to deal with wild bitch. Now we're back on the street with the flavor you missed. So get with the program, hold your head up, get real high. I know I'm a real pro, like the shit gets fat five. Running and shooting, for me, alley-ooping is making an album with big distribution. Promoted and hyped, they composers and snipers. Raise it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Flatbush, Brooklyn, I bring to you tonight the Godfather Don from the Office.
Looking down the
the barrel of a gun is no fun. So for some, I run for pump and flip like a tongue of young dragon. With the force of 10 sacks of Buddha, the wax of Cool Jackson Luther. Even Yahoo, I shoot her in the face with the mother up and bass. Now taste the venom of the ish that I send them. And those I chew them like bristle. Wipe my mouth with tissue. There's no issue on first print. Myth check, the whiz said. The force of my blast blow them like a tech in the blizzard. Now what is it? Exquisite visit to sting your brain. When they visit cardiovascular massacre. Words of massacre, damn. I got beats, rhymes, tech, gas back, including ultra. Check the loop, snoop, low, recoup you like a vulture. Back in the days, there was just beef and knuckles. Nowadays, a beat down consists of those with clips. My ooh-wah rips with abandon at random. You be cool like Michael Landon. When I bust amazing nuts, your plays are cut. The father's ultra paid. I raise it
Yeah, Raise It Up was like, we did the video. Everybody was around. That record was Godfather Don. Like when it come on, he spit out the water out of his mouth. That's the best part. I love. Like
look, there was 2 videos that I had the most fun in my life in. One was the Rebel in the Hour of Chaos, PE, where they had 1,000 rappers. We was in that old jail, bugging out, having fun. And that video right there, I can't explain it. We was in Keith's backyard at his projects, and the whole neighborhood was out there. It was all love. It was just fun.
What most people don't realize is that you guys were in the video for Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people can even name the people that were in that particular picture. But so funny, man. That is a classic, can go on any wall. It's something to be proud of, just to be next to a moment that was like such hip-hop like icons all being a part of that. And I remember just watching the video and seeing Parrish inside the jail cell, or but the fact that you got the promo pic is pretty fucking wild.
Orange Juice Jones
is in there. That's right.
Yeah.
So like
Dre just fucked up my whole shit because he's not a baseball fan. I want to get back to track number 5. All right. So Dre hates baseball. I love baseball.
Yeah.
Keep this shit moving. Saga of Dandy, the Devil, and Day. Woo!
Did you hear the remix?
Of course I've heard the remix. I have the remix. Come on. I own everything, but this was
gospel. That's gospel.
The remix to Raise It Up was also dope too. I mean,
definitely.
This song was the track when it came to I guess on here when it came to baseball. So tell me real quick, both you guys, this particular song, tell me something about it.
Black baseball, it was a known fact, Jack. With the weather so hot, who could play like Danny Day? The greatest and the best, like the Satchel Brother Page. Long time and Little Bum in the Hall of Fame. Like Josh and Buck, be alert, duck. Everybody was down for being peanuts. Foxy's in the Sunday's best, their brightest dress.
And on deck, said G. Not baseball today, true. It's mostly non-racial. But back in the days, it was all segregated. The whites had the majors, and then the blacks had the Negro League. They both had great talent, but then us blacks have no history of all our great players. The teams in the ballpark, but we're here to shed light. Restore the glory they haven't got. Black baseball, they paved the way. The players like they, the Devil and they. Black baseball, they paved the way. With players like Dandy, the Devil and they. Black baseball, they paved the way. With players like Dandy, the Devil and they. Black baseball. Now the ballpark they played in was very far from a stadium. They only sat 100 troops as opposed to the thousands, but the stands would stay packed for the league that was back. With teams like the Bacharachs and the Homestead Grays, the Eagles and many more came ready to play. In cities like Birmingham, Newark and Chi-Town, the bus trips were very long. Paychecks will bring a frown, but not to these players, but they really love baseball. You can ban them from majors, but not from the game. With players like Leon Day, who pitched almost every day. His arm would hold up, blowing hitters with smoke away. And then there was Bullet Joe, also with Smokey Joe, King Richard and Sammy T, and brothers like Impo. Next, batter up.
Bring it home, Keith.
They took the long grade line, it was so fun. Super and strong to play, 3 games a day. Hey, hey, Thunder Twins are up and gonna win again. Make the other players say, oh, them again? Well, what do you know?
Black baseball, they paved the way with players like Dandy, the Devil, and Dave. Black baseball, they paved the way with players like Dandy, the Devil, and Dave. Black baseball, they paved the way with players like Dandy, the Devil, and Dave. Black baseball.
Papa Bell was cool, broke any catches rule on the base at night. Total speed, flipped the light, coming past Rick Flash, he was so fast. Scouts watching their awed and what they saw. The best in the game, it's a shame you don't know. Alex and double duty, and don't forget Judy. Tyler was there and it was black.
Give them their credit, folks, and build them a Hall of Fame. The legends can rest with uniforms in the whole shebang and honor the players, coaches, fans in the ballparks, from the Giants, the Phillies, to the New York Black Yankees, the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Yeah, they don't have to thank me. Just thank the Red Bulls, just thank the A. Manleys, just thank Rufus Lewis. A few names that grab me. Black baseball, they paved the way with players like Dandy, the Devil, and Dave. Black baseball, they paved the way with players like Dandy, the Devil, and Dave. Black baseball.
Well, Stu Fine had met some of the original players from the Negro Leagues.
Okay.
So he put me and Keith on the phone with them. And, you know, it was just an idea. And they said, you know, they would appreciate it. So Keith went in the lab. He wrote his brilliant verse. And then I had to follow him. So, you know, it was just fun again, like I said. And then, like that remix, like Keith said, Godfather Don made serious jazz. It was like huge. That remix is sick. That I could just listen to that all day. And it sets up my little speech. It's the top of the knife. It just sounds like magic. You know?
So you guys spoke to like Day or Bell prior to making this record? Guys like that?
Yeah. Spoke to them briefly on the phone.
That's pretty cool.
Then they sent us, they sent us the apparel and everything. It was just...
Yeah, you guys had that Jersey game on lock kind of before it became a trend.
That was also a very cool thing about the album. We
took the pictures at the zoo.
Yeah, man.
And Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Now, based on the reference, I would imagine you guys were big fans of the Yankees in the 70s. I mean, Sparky Lyle and Thurman Munson and whatnot.
Catfish Hunter.
Yeah, Willie Randolph. Now, were you guys... Did it end in the 70s or
Chris Chambliss?
I forget all 70s dudes.
Oh shit!
What about Donnie Baseball and Ricky Henderson? Did you guys continue in the 90s?
Louisiana Lightning.
Winfield.
Dave Winfield.
Now he knows I hate baseball, but I will say this: I do have a baseball that was signed by the whole New York Yankees squad. What was it, 79 when they won?
1927. It was Babe Ruth and it was Lou
the 79. My pops knew Phil Rizzuto, and they came down, and I have that ball still.
Who that got you a ball?
Phil Rizzuto, the dude who used to do the money store shit.
Holy cow! Are you as confused as I am about these new tax laws? Call the money store toll free. Dial 1-800-221-9000.
Is that 77, Dre?
It could have
George Herman Ruth.
77, 78, I don't know. But it was that whole squad, Billy Martin squad.
Oh, like nigga.
Right, White.
All right. Delta Force 2. One thing. Tell me about this joint.
Hey, I gotta throw that is wicked. So sit back while I kick it. The incredible edible. Change my pitch while I rip it. Biggie make it just happen while I keep fingers snapping. Now the style is correct, so I'ma keep pacing rapping. Cause I'm back and I'm flowing. I'ma keep people knowing that I'm just like the Energizer. Still going. Get that and make that something you think is real bad. It's a Small thing, I'm back on the Delta Force track. That's the bigger. That's a soul brother nigga. I don't fight or waste time, black. I just pull a trigger. Now my mic is just smoking like I'm not joking. Fuck around, so tell me true. Your big nose is broken. Now I be the headbanger, releasing more anger. Cause my fury is deep, so no chatter, just scatter. When I'm feeling the head, I make beats that just flip. So I ride up a ride next, then flex. Back at the ranch with the 4H Horseman. The flavor is steady. Move your head to the base. So check the rhymes and check my stats. And now you know that G is back. I'm still the Delta.
It ain't nothing G, it's just a small thing. It ain't nothing G, it's just a small thing. It ain't nothing G, it's just a small thing.
Delta Force 2 is just listen to it. It's organized confusion.
Organized.
It's so much shit on there. It's so much shit on there, and to make it all sound like one was just a job by itself.
All right. Well, Mo's not on, so we won't talk about Herman's Lust, but let's talk about See the Man on the Street. You mentioned that, which is ironically another Godfather Don joint. I mean, he gave you
See
all...
the Man on the Street it's just so walking down the street late at night, it was just crazy, like Broadway. You know, the horns, and there's just a dark street on Broadway, like going in one of those little streets like around Soho, the cobblestone streets. That record was like that.
Your niggas wanna get in the back door, you fucking rappers can't rap a lick, jumping on other dick. I gotta do this for X and make them brothers quit. Don't try that sissy shit, that getting busy shit. I bang a nail up in your duty hole and booty quick. Rappers know me, I'm bugged, I chop your ass right. Take the body and bag it, then I'm out of sight. I got the FBI, not the FOI. Trying to find the design and tape an underline. The pill facts on the stupid wicked wax. People they know I'm out the hospital, cold bugging and illin' like Dr. Doolittle. You better walk up the street and look around, black. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. See that man on the street? Who's at the corner? Yeah. Back to hell to the graveyard with fog in the street. You see the ghost rider home piss. I walk down in your block and see you sleeping. Go jump in your bed and fuck you up. Yeah. Down with the X, I'm in the basement. Got the body and back up on the pavement. Some minute I win, just hit them in a vent. I put the rappers upstairs and let them air out. Before the cops came, I cleaned the blood up. I called detectives in time and said you want up. I wasn't home, somebody's in my house. I took them rappers back out, up in a pickup truck. Think I tell myself, see that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah. See that man on the street, who's at the corner, yeah.
It's a hard record, though.
Yeah, then that loop, that dum, that was sinister. That was sinister.
Yeah, like you want to do a stick up when you listen to this song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a violent record.
See, that's what a lot of people made jazz stuff, but like you said, they kind of was mad at Godfather Don. It's like in the industry, they kind of like they put him in the same bracket as we was. Like whatever people couldn't do, we hate what they do. Like if we can't duplicate you, we hate you. That he falls in that bracket too. Like we couldn't do it. Everybody couldn't make his kind of jazz, so they hated him. Same with us. They can't make the kind of sounds we do, rap like us. They hated us. So they loved us and hated us at the same time. But now it seems they're more happier because they said, well, time went by. I'm glad those motherfuckers is not like competitive with us right now. Whatever. That's what it boils down to. So, like you said, we was a hated or love it.
All right, we got a few more. Bring It Down to Earth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's time to come out and give the people something they can understand. Something not too complicated. You know what we gonna do? down to earth. Mega bomb, ignite, super reflection. Power ignites the fourth horseman, turbo. I kick styles like data, computer reading. Miles away to beam Star Trek. Moving my style up, Optimus level 4. I get a warp speed, cruise on my space tour. Get with the elements, eloquent spacecraft. Change my gamma flow, 1387, 20096. Serial silver 7, I got the skills to rap. So what you want, Spark, style like Captain Kurt. Gamma ray 1 block, particle leading out. Rockaway intercourse, damaging animals. A lady with menopause, rising at 1 speed, altitude X speed.
It was more dirty too. It was very dirty and grimy sounding. And
he played the bass on that.
Yeah,
live bass.
Okay.
Played it all the way through.
Don't be scared.
Don't Be Scared was like we had T1000 Todd on there. That was like another bassline record I played. That was like we all aligned in the horn. Who put the horn? Was it Don set?
No,
you put the. Yeah, that was like the horn was like a gargoyle coming out the sky, like it was just like you standing on top of a building like a superhero. Like that was the sinister horn on there.
Tricky style is so cocky, I knock you out like I'm Rocky, and then I'll bet you the world. Plus I'm loop on the point. I licky leap for a rapper because my rhymes are like potion. I think he burn like a booger to put your mind in slow motion. Simply it's done, like making a blunt G. You lick it, I roll it, I'll sticky spark with the fellas. Let's contact Clinton, they call him the chief. Cause I'm potent destruction on suckers and nerves. Take this down, toss it up, then that affects like a reverb. Sinking and matching, cause the flow is exceptional. The Washington Congress, the House of Congressional Professional. Portland, Geronimo, frequencies on our Mickey. Bat your girl, give a hickey. Now you're flipping the ill way, diluted with milk. The Horseman style is the flow so rapid. Kicky run like a faucet, like blue and Bud Abbott. Costello so mellow, like a pen with a fellow. Chicky Shakespeare the Hamlet, tricky both Nicky Jello. Hello, goodbye.
Don't be scared, pick up the mic. Don't be scared, pick up the mic. Don't be scared, pick up the mic.
Yeah, that was Don't Get Scared, Pick Up the Mic was just straight raw.
Now, most of these tracks were recorded at Calliope and Don's house, or
no, they were recorded at Don's house and my house.
All right, so these were all home studios at the time.
Yeah, except Two Brothers with Checks. Raise It Up was recorded at Don's house, but it was mixed at Power Play.
Mm-hmm.
What else was mixed outside of the two places?
You said you sound very much like you had the same cadence on this joint as you did on Two Brothers, right?
Yeah.
The way you went about Don't Be Scared. This was that deliberate, or is that just something you happened to be making and you were kind of in that zone at the time and it just sounded very similar?
I was in that zone. To me, my best performance on that album was on We Are the Horsemen. You know, I just put my foot on that one, you know.
You set it off.
Yeah.
The next joint is Keith 1212, which is ironically, you know, different rhyme pattern. Again, you guys always did something different and kind of.
Keith played the bass on that.
1212. I just step and I rap, move and you clap, dance and wiggle and little feet go tap. Over and switch, change my pitch. You can get down, rock with my sound. As I rock, freak a rhyme, blow up your town. MCs in the back, double trouble can learn. As I start to burn, MCs with your turn. Look at me, black, don't come to me, whack. I chew them like gum, eat your crew like a snack pack. Walking, I flex, checking, I stop. Beat them on down, suckers, I rock. Cling on, swing on, walking, you step. Pick up your pep, build up my rep. Moving, get smack. I'm telling you, black. I told you again, I'm clocking fat knots. 1212. 1212. 1212. Continue, I flow. Now sniffing that blow. Exit get raw, and travel on tour. MCs get crush, stomped in the dust. Mac tech, heavy rhymes go bust. Out on the west, basing your chest. Let me go rock, people just clock. Girls get wet, damp panties and jock. Moving, I swing to right as the sing. Knock on your brain, hit your bell, go ding. Them C's that flow, I think they all so. Like G.I. kitty toy named JoJo. Rappers and doodoo, demons and voodoo. Come in, don't play, watch what I say. Pick up your mic, I'm clocking fat knots. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Exit get wreck, breaking your neck. Your brain is a seed, like a bird I go peck. Don't call me no Jeff, keeping no sweat. You could be dog, cat my pet. As I go move, your BM so smooth. Rhyming like Wild Bill, strong and I feel. Suckers ain't jack, jumping on zap. Thinking they funk, soft and they punk. Like they in jail, soft and they swing soft. But I got a dip, you stay on my tip. Why? Inside Herman's head, clocking fat.
1, 2, 1, 2 was like chopped up, catch a groove in a different way, and it just was cool with double rhyming through the whole song.
Yeah, that wasn't common back then.
I made my own echo basically. Like I was repeating as an echo, like I was a human echo. No
Keith,
echo chamber.
Is that a song where you heard the beat and you mimicked the beat?
No, it was a lot of space in there. It was just, the way it was spaced, like brant. So it was like it only could go with a cadence, like moving a step, and doing the chop. So it was like brant. Like you couldn't really rap over it with the whole full kind of rap sentence. Like you couldn't like say a paragraph kind of rap.
Crazy
like,
original. So original.
Yeah, so good. That one was just really
very
special.
original.
Next joint is Time to Catch a Body. Tell me about it.
A lot of rappers think they can rap and then do that. Jumping on my testicles, my black scrotum. Show them that they style is cold, but doodoo. Like a baby's hiney, a stinky funky boo-boo. Kicking with more rounds, that pops all sounds. Get with the drip, what I'm saying? Slaying. Bringing them C's to the program. Not like H-Town, soft on a slow jam. I kick it wicked with the funky style, lick it, suck it. Jump on a jock just like a groupie whoopie. I make them C's look bad like Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Your mother act wild, sister act goofy. DJs go wild and act retarded, illiterate. Put me in the mix, well consider it. Oh yeah, I'm bound to step and throw a gun in your face. Hijack all that shit, spray your station with mace. I got my things in effect, all plans down. The boys ready, stupid crazy with their masks down. I walk around, okay, you think I'm joking? Just go to sleep and see what happened. Remember, where could I be when you're lonely with Tony? Take them outside on the highway for a ride. Remember when detectives come out of anything.
I get sticky. Give a girl a bone now, make her get with Mickey. Battle from the Yankees, Buckley hang with Spanky. Forky hang with Petey, drink some deadly tea leaves. I kick this down to make a blind man see again. Drop his wheelchair troop, dance like Reverend again. Fully roll out, connect with the 1 and 2, like you. I wanna get freaky with you, and let me make you up and down. Yeah, now back to the verse. I had some of you debating. He's beating up the demons. I'm arguing with Satan. Hanging on the corner, the Davis and the JVC. I'll be a goody, but the demons always chasing me. Up the turnpike, connected to the interstate. Yabba dabba, the most expensive slave. Yo, Fred, let's call Kazoo. Put our foot down on the ground and roll out and see Wilma. Cause time to catch a body. Time to catch a body. Time to catch a body.
That was crazy. Like that was this kind of sexy record. That was the one when
sexy
said was like, I like to lick you up and down. That was like we were basically like we was like Drew. Who was that? We was like Silk. It was like dum. It was like kind of like a sexy.
To me, that was Keith's best bass line on it.
It was like a sexy gangster record. It was like nice for the girls, but hard enough for like guys to listen to it. Like
it was Latoya with melodies.
Yeah. Just the lyrics.
Nice, nice.
Wow, to catch that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
The next joint is Yo Black, which ironically, I believe Buckwild did a remix for this, which I'll need to hear about how that came about because that.
Okay, look, the Yo Black, to me, Keith, that's the one that got the industry, man.
Yeah, you listen to the sounds of the one Rhythm X, the man. I'ma show you how to get wrecked the right way. Shut up, step back, that picky, packy, wacky rap. Your old flow is over and your rhyme style is over with. In fact, big head, yo, take it as a bigger diss. I come walking your show like David Berkowitz. Make you think you swimming like that homie Mark Spitz. How can you put up a box against an alligator? I chew your crew one by one like an annihilator. I make the heavy man light, turn a black kid white. Bust a rhyme and they rectum, squeeze it tight. I wreck shop like Rock the Ricky Wrecker. Crusher, stomper, another brother. I make them C's go hey ho, look at me now, what's up, hey Joe? You say you bad but good, but soft as oak wood. Perpetrating wild when you're coming from no hood. I wipe your style like doodle when I beat ya. Treat you like an old Bible rhyming school teacher. Like my son, did your mother tell you? Peepees on the rise, why the X gotta smell you? You know me, I know you. You dropping lyrics on the record that's spinning that smell like doodoo. Yo, get back. I rock styles on top, another funky child. I kick a rhyme so swift and make your girl smile. You better go up and think, cause I'm your father. Yo, back, go back, step back, you whack. Yo, black, 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 go back, step back, you whack. Check it, 1, 2, you don't wanna step 2. Crazy psycho patient from the Bronx coming at you. I get hypo and deep, funky figgy flex. Bust my style, get wild, flow like Rhythm X. People know they whack, in fact, I'm coming back black. Busting super styles on you clowns with the map sap. You say you good with the mic, man, I wonder why. You think I'm sleeping? Pajamas on, belly by. Rappers on my D-head, quick to stick in New York. Everywhere I go home, never ride and I walk. You think you fly, don't try, you'll lick the penis B. I ride around to Mars and go to Venus C. Take you on a trip and make you bug out, seek out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whole week out. Check it, watch it, back up, slow down. The same way you blow up, I'll make a rapper blow down. I'll make you quit rap and try to get with Bobby Brown. Slide and glide, boogie down like James Brown. Never will I say watch me when I do that. When I grab the mic and rock, watch him say who that. I know my tongue is long, just like a lizard. Can you drop the mic? Respect the funk wizard. I know you breaking your neck to hear the X stuff. Back to burn, yo Sam, yo ain't the X rough. I look at millions of groups and tell them get back. Yo black, go back, step back, you whack. 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 Third rhyme, see who I can move and spread the rumors. You rappers been played like suede pumas. Yo bust it, I kick a style so rugged they're making Vogue wet. Change their panties and bras and make $1 bet. Never will I stop it, got the target on your anus. Your preschool style, kindergarten not the same as I rock. You can't, this ain't your place to be. I'll make you cry, kid, cover your face to me. I'm not the one fairy tale like Patti LaBelle. My job is easy when I'm dragging them down to hell. You know my story when I'm throwing you off the cliff. Them jelly rounds on the table with Skippy and Jiff. I see these suckers better find another game plan. I never heard of you stupid, what's your name, man? Don't try to come back and cut your head, ball B. Jump on my tip when you're taking a 4G. You see the style is mine, but can the X flow? I'll make your fans get wild and boo your next show. Kick it when I feel it, the X style reveal it. Don't try that BB bum flow, rap on no track. I give you more than some cop, I give you no slack. People know I wreck, did that kid get the message? I drop a rhyme, aim a missile when you wreck them. Yo black, go back, step back, you whack. Yo black, go back, step back, you whack. Yo black, go back, step back, you whack. Yo black, go back, step back, you whack.
You gotta remember, rappers actually came to us and asked us about the record on Yo Black. Yeah. They didn't do that before.
What were most of the comments from them?
Well, what I had was a style.
You dissing me, man? Are you dissing me? I thought we was cool.
Nah, what I had was a style that I liked. It like what I did was use different styles in Yo Black, and I was different styles of the industry cadences. So I was listening to every rapper, and and the track was like doom 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 doom, like it was James Brown, wasn't it? Said so. I used I kind of combined it like Das Effects, and mixed it with Tretch kind of voice, like Das Effects and Tretch, like all the Wiggy, like, you know, we were still on that point. Wiggy style is unbearable, so we still was doing vocal tricks too, like, you know, so that when Wiggy, like, we were still doing
tongue twisting
Das Effects. Yeah, so that was a record that we didn't do, like lift, the pitch, the shift, the if, the gift. We didn't do that. That's one thing about that album. We had so many different styles that we, and plus we listen to rappers and get different pointers and mix up cadences.
It was great.
So you guys made a lot of music that offended people, even though you weren't trying to offend people.
No, we just was writing what we was feeling. We just wrote what we was feeling, but everybody was still feeling, you know, I don't know, like people dissed more. A lot of people dissed a lot of people in music, but I think people think we were more like not supposed to make offensive records. Like we supposed to be neutral.
And another thing about Yo Black was, once again, Mo Love produced the track, but we were trying not to have to clear too many samples. So I actually had a musician, my boy Spaceman, play all the elements over. And the key to me there was when I mixed it, I had to make it sound like the loop. And I think that was one of my best mixes on Yo Black, because a lot of people think that's the loop. But if you listen, you'll hear where the guitar just drops by itself. You'll hear the drums drop by themselves. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I take pride in, when I can take elements and make it sound like
live.
The actual. Yeah.
That's what we miss, because so many people just kind of keep that loop going and they just do dropouts of the whole song. No one knows how to like create this pocket where the bass drops, where the drums drop, where the guitar comes in. You know, it's like all these beautiful little waves, and you know, you really need a producer's mind to properly arrange tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So
why was it remixed by Buckwild?
I don't know.
Keith, you recall why?
I don't know either. I mean, maybe Stu might have did a remix.
Did you guys ever hear the remix by Buckwild?
No.
No, I never heard it.
What?
I never heard the Buckwild remix.
Wow. Well, yeah, that was all right. Well, the last joint off this album, totaling 51 minutes and 28 seconds, is Big Booty. Now you close it out. Now, did you guys
that was sad, but that was sad. That was a record that Sad fought for in the album. I think we didn't really. It was a record he fought for. And I was like, okay, put it on there.
When I stroke it and stick it, then I go for a ride that you can't comprehend. Ladies screaming and dreaming, cause I'm coming with atoms. High tech, apex, orgasm they have most times multiple in different dimensions. Activate rise, now I'm ready to enter. Let's see big proton gaze through your galaxy. He's gaining momentum. You're having a fit, lubricated you are, so I can rip. The walls of the spaceship transport to your septicals like that King Cole said.
Like he said, I fought for it, but the thing was, I worked on it so hard, I actually overdid it. If I would have just left it the way it was, it would have been crazy. Sometimes when you work on something too long, you keep adding stuff when you don't need to. Of
course.
Because you try to make it sound new every time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, after this album, which came out in '93, there was, is it fair to say, a little bit of a hiatus? I mean, Keith started doing his projects. Dr. Octagon is probably the one many people are familiar with as far as your solo work. That was with Automator.
Let me go real quick right there. At that point, it was a hiatus, but it was needed because what was happening to Keith was unfair. Like I told you, all of those last two deals were supposed to culminate with him doing his solo album, which he never got to do. So at that point, he just wanted to do his solo thing because he missed 2 trips. He had already missed out on 2 albums, you see? So it was time for him just to go ahead and just go do what he do.
So let's get into Dr. Octagon, right? It was, first of all, you have 18, 20 different alter egos, but this one in particular was the album that I think really helped establish you as a solo artist, if you will, right? You worked with Automator. It was initially on Bulk, and then years later it was re-released on DreamWorks, which I want to know because that's kind of crazy. Your album was on a label owned by Steven fucking Spielberg and David Geffen, right? That's kind of nuts. But Dr. Octagon, right? It was yet another album you could say was well ahead of its time. I mean, it's people that watch, I don't know if you guys ever seen like Black Mirrors on Netflix. That's what Dr. Octagon is like. You know, it's one of these kind of albums that takes you down this path that you would never imagine existed. And just a little bit for the fans' sake, let's get into that album, what it was like. How did you link up with Automator? What was this the first quote unquote solo project that you really completed? I know you were working on a lot of other things, but
well, what happened is when I moved out to LA, I used to go out to before I used to go out to LA, me and Sid, we used to always go out to Kutmaster Kurt's house and stuff. So you know, Kurt was always showing us around Oakland and stuff to buy records. And then what happened is I went out to, me and Kurt pressed up some records like Prepare With No Underwear and this record called Big Eyes and all that. I See Your Big Eyes, and it was like 4 or 5 tracks. So me and Kurt went down to California from Kurt used to stay in he used to send me tapes to my house, cassettes with dope beats on them. So, you know, I said, when I get to California, we're going to talk. So Kurt lived in, what's that little town in Santa Cruz. Kurt lived in Santa Cruz. So Kurt was a big fan of Ultra anyway. So Kurt used to come up to San Francisco and show us around and take Mo and Trev to buy records. So Kurt always wanted to produce some tracks for us, but it was too late for Ultra to do another album. So Kurt sent me beats. I went out to Santa Cruz, and then after a while, I went back to New York. Kurt shopped the tapes down to Capitol Records, and LO7 Self was at the, I think, what did they call it? What was that San Francisco seminar they used to do? Gavin?
Yeah, Gavin.
Yeah, so I saw LO7 Self up there and Malik, and they was like, yo, Keith, we want to sign you for real. And then we got up there, they got back to California, and they told Gary Gersh to sign me. So I originally signed with Capitol Records to do Sextile album. Sextile, I had a budget of $500,000 moving fund, and I think $500 to do an album, like $1 million deal with Capitol.
Damn.
So what happened is we moved to LA. Kurt got the deal. He was like, yeah, but you think I'm just going to go back home with my mom and, you know, I'm going to album from home. I'm saying, Kurt, they gave you $500,000 to move. I'm like, Kurt, let's look at the biggest crib. So me and him bought we bought like a little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Beverly Hills. And they gave us a member said they used to have a recording fund. So Kurt could get equipment, ADATs and everything and all that. That's when the ADATs arrived. So we moved in the apartment. We didn't decorate it with much. We had a big, giant basketball living room. And me and Kurt bought, what's that game? Sega Genesis. He's on fire!
NBA Jam.
He's on fire! We played that every night in a big, giant living room with 2 rocket chairs. So, you know, in the meantime, you know, we're in the house working on Sextiles. We working on Sextiles, you know, all that Sextile, the record Sextile, Don't Crush It, all the Sextile tracks. So what happened is, you know, when Kurt, we finished Sextile, so Capitol's holding Sextile. They don't know what to do. KRS is signed over there with
Channel Live.
Channel Live, and you know, Foxy Brown is signed over there. And it was funny, I almost had an argument with Foxy Brown in the lobby or something, in the hallway with LO, and I didn't know who she was or something. So he said, yeah, this girl, I forgot her name, Inga, we're gonna sign her. So it was like, I don't know, we had like a difference, an argument or something. I was like, I don't know why. I think it was something like, a small situation or something, and I was like, "Who is this girl?" Like, I didn't know who she was, and it got into more. I didn't know who she was, but anyway, me and Kurt went over there and worked on Sextile. And Automator was a guy that come down and help Kurt with his equipment, and Automator was a good guy to hook up Kurt's equipment. So, me and Kurt lived together, we stayed together, went shopping together for food and stuff every day. Then Kurt got mad because Kurt started buying Stella Dora bread and celery and all this, and I was buying Captain Crunch and popcorn. And Kurt got mad and used to leave me in the supermarket, and I had to walk all the way from the supermarket, and cars passing me by like, damn, you don't got no ride to put your groceries in? When you walk into California, people looking at you crazy. So we finished the album. Capitol puts Sextile on hold. We're balling in LA with money, going to clubs, and I forgot like all the stuff underground. Anything I wasn't going to Project Blow or nothing. I just felt like I was Shaq. We did the record, and they put it on the show. So Automator came down. Menelik flew out to LA, and we did some space shit, just messing around the house. Like, I forgot it was the Great Western Forum, and there was another track, me and Menelik, just the tracks me and Menelik on.
No Awareness?
Yeah, that kind of tracks. I think Kurt did 2 of them. Not No Awareness. There's 2 tracks me and Menelik is rhyming crazy. So Automator comes down and hear it and say, yo, are you doing something with that? I want to bring this up to these 2 concept songs up to, let's get a situation and come up to San Francisco. So I say, okay, maybe a couple weeks I come up there. So after a couple weeks, Automator brings me up to San Francisco. Meanwhile, Sextile is still on the show. I go up there and finish the record. Bringing some yoo-hoos and donuts. I laid the vocals to everything in like one day, like 2 days the most. Like, Girl, Let Me Touch You. I knocked out, all this. All
those joints were in 2 days?
In 2 days. So I'm on the roof because I was a beast writing. So Automator brings me up to San Francisco for maybe no more than 4 days. So I take one day to go out and walk around Market Street. The other 3 days, I'm going up in the roof. He's making pot stickers. We're going to Brandy Hills, getting Chinese food. But he was the first one to introduce me to those dumplings. So he brings dumplings up in the attic, and I'm knocking out tracks left and right. So I'm like, like you said, No Awareness, 3000. The tracks was coming to me just like water to my head. I had no writer's block. I'm walking around San Francisco in the daytime. At night, I go up in the attic, record all the songs. So we knocked the album out. He said, I'm going to mix it next week. He got the 2 concept records, but this all really spun from the 2 concept records that Menelik had. And on top of that, in between that, I'm in Hollywood reading bad press and, God Bless the Dead, MF Doom and whoever, I think Madlib and all the other rappers that was supposed to be, I had supposed to have been in the press and Rolling Stone and all the magazines and Spin and Alternative Press. I was supposed to be the guy that fell off and, in that so-called rap world of, lyrical rap world of, Rupert Murdoch and sound bombing. I was supposed to have fell off to whatever, all the new rappers that was coming out at that time. And the whole
Rawkus sound.
The Rawkus sound, and then, of course, MF Doom was running stuff. So, and then you had a lot of other rappers that was coming, even though me and what's her name used to see each other a lot at Rite Aid, me and Mos Def, you had all the stuff, the staff of that label stuff. And just all kinds of new rappers, whatever new rapper was supposed to have been there. And I was reading in articles, this is what Keith should be doing. And this is how Keith fell off. And this is why Keith fell off. And Keith should be doing what this dude. This dude is another version of Kool Keith on steroids. I'm reading the press. Like, I'm always at the magazine stand reading bad press about me. So the album didn't come out yet. So I was like, hold up, I got to go do this album and make something to shut everybody up. So I went up there, after reading months of bad press about me, everybody was like, I'm done, I'm over with. I put out all kinds of wild projects that shouldn't be out. And the last couple of things I worked on hasn't been worth anything. So what happened is went up there and we finally got the album mastered and finished, and they dropped it. And the press went crazy, and everybody, the magazines and everybody, the album was so dope that it stormed into the rock department. It stormed into the alternative department. It stormed into hardcore rap.
College radio was huge in college radio.
Yeah, it stormed into college radio. It stormed in alternative. So the record killed every genre and every hardcore rapper from streets. Anything from all nostalgia of streets, the sound rock. It tore everybody, and whoever they thought was like they was talking about me, that Keith should have been doing this. It just destroyed all of that stuff. So I was happy about that. The press went crazy again. And I'm king of the underground. I'm king of all the whatever stuff. Everybody that's doing stuff that's supposed to have been doing. So I'm king back of that again. So I'm running LA. I'm running all of the underground, all of the nostalgia, sound bombings, all of the Hydra, every damn thing you name to they give Menelik a deal. I mean, Rawkus gives Menelik a deal because I got Menelik under me.
Between Menelik and Godfather Don, you were instrumental in bringing them to the forefront of the indie hip-hop circuit. I mean, all those groups, even Co-Flow, you've single-handedly influenced almost everybody. Yeah, everybody's come out.
High and Mighty. I just ran the whole circuit. Like I put it out. That album made me just gain my title back because I had negative press in LA. Like everything I was reading was, anything he was putting out lately. He's trying to do his side projects and KHM and this and that and whatever he's working on with this one that's just something extra. And the Keith and the basements and the KHM and the. If Keith collaborated with Isham on Spank Master. So they started going like projects. So I was like, okay, they're getting kind of bold, talking about me, especially Rolling Stone, of course. And Spin, then when Octagon came out, like you said, it just took everything by storm. The press changed, then Black Elvis, I spent in the Black Elvis. But back to Octagon, that record took me back to square one of critics. Critics had shut their mouth, put their finger in their ass, and left me alone.
So that was really, I think, 95, 96, it got re-released. Tell me how you guys got put onto Dreamworks. From a financial standpoint.
Well, we met, Kurt's neighbor was Marvin Mack, and then he was a neighbor. He was like, yo, they want to just switch it over, man. Let's take it. And Tony Isabella came down, and Dan's manager. See, I like when Dan had Tony Isabella. That was so much better. She was very understanding. I thought Tony was mean, but I think that was one of Dan's best managers ever, besides the second manager. Was not totally a good manager of communicating, and then, Dan had a lot of, gatekeepers within me and him. Me and Dan was talking to me, and Dan don't even talk no more to me. And Dan had to do shows together, but me and him and Cuba got to talk through three different managers to talk to each other. So it got pathetic. So instead of me, him, and Cuba going to a restaurant and just talk together, we was you had managers talking to each other. So it didn't make any sense when me and him and Cuba could have just how the group originally started. Me, him, and Cuba talk to each other and figure out what we're doing instead of Cuba manager talking to my manager, and now my manager's talking to Dan's manager, and because Dan started this manager talk shit. So me and Cuba was always, let's talk live in person. Let's go to a restaurant to this day. Let's talk in person. Automators got a little slight Hollywood, basically. you know, and I made him happen. So, you know, that's what happened, basically. Say, G, get some coffee. He's sleeping outside. He's in a sleeping bag.
Said you in Georgia?
Look at him sleeping sideways. He's like a fucking owl.
You better watch out for a bear come grab you. A bear gonna come grab you.
He in North Carolina. He's in Carolina.
Carolina? I think he's got a tent outside. He's like, you know.
He's in a tent in the woods. A bear. Oh, you see a grizzly coming in.
You build you
right on camera.
That build a tree house.
You see that grizzly behind you?
You in the tree house, sir?
Man, sleeping like a sloth.
You see that grizzly behind you? You see that grizzly behind you? You see the grizzly behind you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk quick, although you guys seem to be talking a lot, and I don't want to interrupt you because
go ahead. You can,
so we're finishing up about Dr. Octagon, but I'm just going to break it down because I like to keep order. So the other album that came out in '96 was the Cenobites record with you and Don, and I think it was Bobbito.
Bobbito,
right?
Okay,
yeah. So that album, real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but again, just to kind of give the listeners a progression. Of things. Okay. The Cenobites joint. Tell me quickly about it. Was it supposed to be a collaboration, or did it just end up that way after?
Well, the Cenobites was just a collaborative. A lot of records me and Don made that we didn't use, and then Bobbito liked them, but we didn't really care about the records me and Don until Bobbito addressed us and said, "Yo, this is some cool stuff." But me and Don made a lot of records for all kinds of stuff. The album for Horseman, me and Don was recording just everyday songs. So me and Don had a collab of extra stuff to put on a Cenobites record. Anyway, me and Don were natural recorders after work. He would off work, we'd go straight to Brooklyn. Sometimes Menelik would go over there. We just made records. So the Cenobites was a collage of stuff that Don put on the record. I mean, Don had a lot of songs that he never even put out. Like Don had a lot of records, but he had some with me that we put out with Bobbito, and that's how the Cenobites became about.
Tell me about this one right here. Big Time.
Oh, Big Time. Well, that was with Eddie Pugh. Kurt and Rex did the production, and Tim had found Eddie Pugh, and Eddie Pugh was like Tim kind of leached with Eddie Pugh and turned to executive. And Tim was a connoisseur of just getting with big people with money. Eddie Pugh was a big I think Eddie Pugh was like a big radio man for like Warner Brothers. So what happened, I think Eddie Pugh was still independent, talking like, yo, we're going to do it ourselves. I got the game down packed. So Tim met Eddie Pugh was big with radio, and Tim finagled his way into Eddie Pugh's life. And you know how Tim is. Once Tim get the magic wand, Tim was probably told Eddie Pugh all kinds of tricks.
Now, was Tim an honorary member? Like was he like a Capadonna of the crew? He wasn't official, but he was kind of like an honorary member.
I liked Tim. Tim was a very good, smart man. Like Tim can charm you into doing something. Tim is very good.
He charmed a hell of a lot of people.
Tim is good with business.
No, he's a member.
Tim
was living in my house.
But did you guys consider him a member of Ultra, or was he an honorary member of Ultra?
He was. Tim had his own album. He was a member. He stayed in the house.
Yeah. He stayed in the house. He lived in the house. He ate my mother's food. Call it what it is. Tim was a con man. He wasn't good at business. He was good at getting into business.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the art. But that is the art. That is the art.
Yeah. That's the art. Is he a member? Yes, he is.
That's the art. Tim has an art.
That's not the question.
But what I do like about Tim, where some others like managers and stuff, Tim did put money into anything to make himself a star. Tim would go buy clothes. Tim would do anything to make it believable, which is good. Like the illusion, because the whole industry is an illusion. So Tim, mind you, of a lot of the Midwestern, the guys in the South, whatever you had to take to look like a rapper, Tim would do it. Or Tim would go by any old means. like what the industry is really about, what renting and, like you said, giving you the look to make it believe.
We can go on and on about Tim, but God rest his dead.
I like Tim. Yeah, I like Tim. Tim is
Tim's not here.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's no death certificate, so it's allegedly.
Matter of fact,
he changed his name and he's in a different city.
I mean,
I saw Tim yesterday.
You saw Tim in Whole Foods picking up ginger root. Let's talk real quick. I'm moving on. Sex Styles. This is another joint you did with Kutmaster Kurt. This was all funky.
Okay, yeah.
This is kind of like, it was a big component of this album was Ice-T.
Sex Style really owned that record. I mean, I don't know how Kurt claimed it. I mean, I own Sex Styles basically. I got Sex Styles back from Capitol Records. I own Sex Styles, but I think maybe Kurt is maybe still using things from it with shirts and I came up with the funky ass logo and stuff like that. I was a total project. Sex Style was given back to me, so we had some independent things to do with Sex Style. A record given back to me from Capitol Records that which is Capitol didn't deduct no money from us and all the money they gave us, but I guess a lot of people got attached to the record. I didn't give up on Sex Style. We didn't do nothing with it. I kept it. They gave it back and it gave me back the catalog. And then I guess Kurt started going at his own way to do little T-shirts and putting the record back out again and all that, which Kurt can do a brand new album. I hope if Kurt is out there listening, we can you can do another record instead of just trying to maybe live off of Sex Style.
Well,
but
another record is the Dr. Doom joint.
That's another record me and Kurt did. Dr. Doom, same thing was with Dr. Doom. We went to I think Dr. Doom was distributed by Caroline or one of them. What was the distribution on the back of it? Dr. Doom went up to, I think it was a late
New Groove.
New Groove. Okay, New Groove. Me and Kurt did some deals with that. So, which is, Kurt fell in love with those catalogs a lot. And I just went on to make new music. Kurt just loves Sex Style and Dr. Doom so much.
But it seems like he was a part of all of this. He was a part of all of these different records.
He loves it. Even the Masters of Illusion, great albums. But like I said, Kurt loves those three albums so much. And Black Elvis, you get ready to put out is that was the album with Columbia with Joe the Butcher and Joe Sports and like Phil and everybody got behind it. Tim Devine. Black Elvis became some classic and took the world by storm. And Black Elvis put me in another scene too. But there was a lot of controversy with Black Elvis because it didn't come out, and the fans emailed Sony, and then I had a friend, I can't put his name out there, that worked at Sony, and he told me like, the urban department or the pop department don't know what to do with the record.
Black Elvis recording in the 48-track studio, Madison Square Garden sound check. Speak direct, fans in the upper level, backstage passes, wearing diamonds around my glasses. Leather coat, 30,000 from Wilson, counting the Milson, talking to Andre Arell with the chauffeur driving me around in the green Rolls Royce. Park parallel on Fifth Avenue, stepping in Bloomingdale's, waiting for Celine Dion to get her nails done. Tour day start tomorrow. MCI send the cash to Wells Fargo. Black Elvis, 28 G's a night. Tour bus with the Motley Crew. Who gon' stop who? Rockstar don't need no tattoo.
So
Tommy Mottola told you that?
Not Tommy Mottola. Nah, I'm saying it was a friend of mine, good friend of mine. I can't put him out like that. But he told me he worked up there. But he said, yo, man, they urban and the pop department the album is so different, they don't know what to do with it. So, but I had told them to market Black Elvis urbanly at first, but they took the cover picture and did their sci-fi stuff. See, people wanted to be weird. We never was weird. We was in the Bronx. I said, yo, promote the album like you promote any R&B record on the radio. Promote the record like Teddy Riley. You take the record like Teddy. You pick a song, you promote it like Teddy Riley. You promote it like Patti LaBelle. They were trying too much to be distinctive. They were trying to, promote the album through space and bring it back into the city and take it out to Jupiter. And I said, just take the record up to radio and promote it at Essence Festival, anything regular. They didn't listen. The cover made them feel like, we got to promote the record, with a rocket ship behind it, and we got to build a capsule. They ran away, basically.
They were trying to capture that college audience you had at one time, you know what I mean, for the success of Octagon, in my eyes.
So you had a pretty remarkable run. This is another album that came out in 2000. This is
Matthew was the album I was just mad and upset, and I took all my... That's the streetest album I did, had Bumpy on there. I mean, Matthew...
I was going to ask you about that. Didn't Bumpy dish you guys on his debut album? And then you worked with Bumpy on this.
Not Bumpy Knuckles. You talking about Freddie Fox?
Well, yeah. That's
me and Freddie Fox did a record on... me and Freddie Fox was cool. Freddie Fox did a record with me on Feature Magnetic.
Yeah, but when he first dropped, I'm talking, 93, 94? He had a joint that was an Ultra Disc.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Yeah, but Freddie always did records Freddie, he's a lyricist. So.
He did that record behind Yo Black.
Yeah. Well, right now, Freddie Fox made records after that. Everything was cool. So, back then, everybody had lyrical defense records. It was always messing with
it. How can you put up a fox against an alligator?
And that was just a metaphor. Yeah, it was a metaphor.
Got it. So that's what initiated the short-lived beef. Now, of course, you worked with him a few years later, so I was kind of curious how that came about. Let's talk about the relationship you have with Ice-T, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the Analog Brothers, which is another record that true Ultra fans, Keith fans are going to have in their collection. Keith and you guys and Ice-T have been pretty much supporters of one another since day one. He's a big fan of you guys. Always speaks highly of you guys. Tell us about your relationship with Ice-T and what he's meant towards you guys, not just as a group, but as friends going through this illustrious.
I remember. I think we did our first show with Ice when he came to New York at what was that theater? What that theater was that? The Prospect Theater. Ice came over there to the Prospect Theater, but Ice always been a friend of mine through day one. For some reason, Ice always been there, and I knew Ice when I went to LA. He helped make sure I was okay, and then we used to come up to his house on the hill and play the Octagon album in the dark. And Ice house used to look off the mountain and it looked like space, and we would turn the lights out and Menelec come up there and we would play records off the Octagon album. He would flip out, we'd be in the dark listening. So Ice always was around, even personal with the music, and just regular hanging out and going to clubs and in Los Angeles and anywhere in New York or Jersey. And he's just one of my international high profile television friends, and always been there for us from day one. So it's automatic that he always come to the table and help us whatever we need at certain times.
Did he ever try to get you on the show?
No, I don't know. I've been pursued. I did a commercial with him one time a long time ago in LA. I forgot. It was something, like a commercial when I first came to LA. It was I forgot what it was for, a motorcycle or soap powders or something. But, it was just different things. But, I don't be around them and when they're writing scripts and stuff like that. But as far as music and everything, hanging out and doing more personal stuff and riding around, when I was in LA, me and Ice was riding around in the Rolls Royce and going in the hood and, going down to South Central. When I was in Los Angeles, I didn't have a lot of beef with a lot of people. I think I was a person of the community, being from Ultra, and a lot of the people in more down and real deep down parts of LA knew of Ultramagnetic. You'd be surprised that a lot of even people that was in the gang culture, they collected Critical Beatdown, and, you know, they knew I was out there working on stuff. So a lot of people was still in the Ultra, and people down in the Project Blow area, people down in different parts of LA, and, you know, even the neo soul part of LA, different parts. Everybody was down with what we was doing. So, you know, when I came out there, I didn't realize I was such an influence of Los Angeles for the cultural music that we made, the foundation. Because I guess K-Day played a lot of stuff from the Critical Beatdown album, and which spawned people to continue to be into the discography of all those records that you showed in Los Angeles. And, you know, culturally, you know, just international, you know, people selected all those songs from Seattle to Los Angeles to Oakland to Denver to Boston, Philly.
You could definitely say like Freestyle Fellowship, Jurassic 5, all these groups were heavily influenced by Ultra. Let's kind of deviate a little bit, because I do want to touch on this, because I always found it so fascinating that the Prodigy, which was a huge group in was it the mid 90s, 97, something like that, 98, when they obviously we explain how that came about, but that had to be something where you got exposed to millions and millions of different people, like a different demographic. It's gonna like reintroduce Kool Keith to a whole legion of people, right? What was that like at that time, you know?
I did shows, 2 or 3 shows with them. I mean, Liam, you know, I went to Europe when I was in Europe, but they sampled it on the Maverick label, and that record sold 3 million records, and I was just a part of the dance scene with Smack, my bitch, Smack. And then there was another record too, Diesel Power, and you know, it was a great record to do it at, you know, shows and stuff. So I was a part of a dance record, and it didn't have lyrics on it. It was just that sample was just all over the place, all over the dance music scene. So, yeah, I mean, it was my voice, and I don't know. That record just blew up like it blew up like a balloon. That record blew up, and I was on their second album too. Another track. They had another album I was on. So I've been on, you know, Prodigy, thanks to the group and the band, and God bless the guy. What happened to the lead guy, you know? So I think that took a lot of toll on the group and stuff. But other than that, you know, my wishes to them were the best and everything. So, you know.
You've been sampled an awful lot. One of my favorite Nas joints is Taken in Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, great sample there.
When you first heard that record, first of all, did you know you were going to be sampled on that album?
I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that. I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that.
Not really. No. I think my girlfriend told me about the record, that he used it, and then later on we found out more, and I told Eddie about it, and then we took care of the business part of it. But I didn't know that he used the record until one day I heard it. And then, you know, that was cool. You know, I heard that song, and that's when when I listened to some of the stuff that he got, and that was on the King album, It Was Written, not the other one.
That was the Nas Escobar era. Let's get into the alter ego, because we're talking about Nas Escobar. I feel like you are pretty much responsible for the alter egos becoming something. Like Doom had an alter ego. Bobby Digital was an alter ego. I mean, Andre 3000 was wearing wigs because you were wearing wigs in video shoots.
Yeah.
A part of that had to feel good, but a part of that also had to feel like they were biting your style.
What could you do? I mean, I just felt that when people went to the podium, you know, did they express what they saw? I think the industry got more corrupt at that point. That people wouldn't acknowledge stuff like that. But I wasn't looking for it because I kind of knew how people would be anyway. You know, like you said, nowadays the industry is more arrogant than ever, so they go up there and not even mention who started what for real, or they'll come with some kind of stuff where they think it started, you know. So, you know, everybody got their opinions. It's not that I could do, but I mean, hey, what could you say, you know? But I looked at it from afar and said, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and be creative and start new other trends. So, you know, I kind of looked at a lot of that stuff from far away, and I was like, it was kind of funny and comical at the same time, you know, but I was doing so much work that it didn't distract me either. You know, some people could let stuff like that make them go bitter or kill themselves or commit suicide. I was like, you know, it was kind of funny that I got a kick out of how people just ran with stuff and made up their own scenarios of who started this and who started that. So it kind of got comical.
I want to talk about the new album, obviously, with you and Sed, although I think Sed may be in the second REM right now.
I'm here. You up,
All right, come back. Wake yourself up. Break yourself.
MC8, a grizzly bear must have got this dude in North Carolina.
We only see your face no more.
He's running around the woods with Keith Murray in North Carolina. Let's quickly talk about this.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, there we go. We got you. Let's talk about this new album, Sed G, Kool Keith, Ultramagnetic MCs. First and foremost, I know it's on vinyl for a lot of DJs, right? It's on Rough Nation. Tell the listeners, one, about the project, you know, why it finally happened after all these years. What can we expect from this album? Is there more in store? And where, obviously, they can hear this out.
Yo, I'm an instrument for scientific purposes. I insist to be the best alchemist. You can't resist this ultra lab vocalist. Reshift, your brain level's gonna rip. Your brain level's gonna hit. A frequency so elegant. I can make things relevant. Or irrelevant. When you come to my great event, I stampede like an elephant. Make it sound magnificent. Because my talent is heaven sent.
Well, the album basically is like us just having no limitations. We did all kinds of stuff basically on this one. So it wasn't for people to criticize and be like, well, it wasn't Critical Beatdown, it wasn't the Four Horsemen, it wasn't Funk Your Head Up. It was just the Usher album, Keith has said. Like, people, it's not for you to rank any sounds from, oh, it wasn't like this album, and how come they didn't do that? And, you know, you got a lot of people, too, they got their own feelings of what we might have did elevation-wise. You know, we didn't do every track with big words. You know, we got all kinds of songs, a variety of different records. There's no laws right now, musically. And, you know, Sharon picked out a lot of the tracks, and, you know, she was the executive producer of the girl picking songs. And, you know, we just wrote a lot of stuff. I did tracks, number one producer, Sed did tracks. And we did like a big album, you know, four-sided album with everything. Because we at the peak now, music, that we could do what we want, basically. Not for the critic to say, this is what we didn't do. Oh, they didn't use a certain kind of producer on this. They didn't they didn't sample. They did sample. We just did what we wanted to do.
Is this a sample-based record?
You got samples, you got non-samples, you got all types of stuff on there. Like Keith said, there's no rules.
We didn't do any rules, like no rules. It's like a no-rule album. Because we did both. From all the albums we ever made, we did the best of the synthesizer world. We did the best of the sample world. So we do have a green light to make anything we want. It's just kind of cool because we still made a record. You know, a lot of people that came out at the same time we did can't even function and make a record. we actually did a record together, another record of a lot of tracks. The content, a lot of people that came on the golden era can't even make new records. You probably won't hear any new records from anybody in the golden age. None.
It is crazy to see people who were so influential. I'm not calling out names, but like, J. Rue, which put out some crazy, amazing records. I mean, I just feel like whatever new stuff he puts out, it just doesn't make much sense, So the fact that you guys still stay very connected, understand equipment still, understand, writing, lyrics, I mean, on all platforms, I mean, it's really refreshing.
Right. Well, too, I think a lot of the artists from the 80s have a problem basically with the record company structures. Like a lot of the artists are waiting for deals. They still waiting for advances. They still waiting to start a record. They don't have those. They used to being on those labels. Right back then, we used to sign, get it. With that said, you get your PO for the studio. A lot of the groups are out of that format, and they turned into the baby they need formula. And the labels is not, doing it like that no more. They're not doing that. You gotta make your records out the box yourself. So that hurt a lot of artists that you might have wanted to hear now, because the record companies, they had depended on the record companies, whereas the southern guys and other regions put their own records out independent.
You also dropped, I don't want to confuse the listeners because you drop albums like almost every month, but Black Elvis 2 actually just came out recently as well on Mellow Music. So,
we pay for it. I pay for it.
What?
Not Mellow Music, but I pay for my records. I pay for records.
You mean you pay to make those records?
I pay to make records
all
year round.
So
other artists don't pay to make the records. That's why I said we said as equipment. Any way we can get a record made without the company telling us to make a record.
So can we expect more Ultra projects moving forward?
Yep.
Sed's got to move back into the house from the forest, so definitely going to start making more Ultra records.
Say you got to move back in the house. All that sleeping outside is not it.
Can we expect more Ultra with? Is it going to be just you two, or will we see appearances by other former members?
Okay, let me ask you a question. That's what he once said. TR Love and Mo. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally people are curious. They don't always know the backstory. But when they think of Ultra, they think of four dudes. And now you two are the most intricate part of Ultra. But naturally, people want to know, is TR or Mark going to show up on?
Trev came to the studio last night. We were working on something with Mark live, and he put a bass line on something and left. Okay. We see each other. So, but Sed can maybe further explain.
I mean, what can you do when somebody quit? I mean, if somebody quit, they quit. So you can't beg a grown man.
No, that's fair. I remember Black Dot telling us about Malik B not wanting to.
But money talks. Money talks. If you guys probably offer a big, if you guys offer maybe a couple million, I think you get the whole group that you like. You would get
You can't come back then. It's too late. The big money coming. You can't come back. You can't quit your job at you can't quit your job at the New York Stock Exchange, and then when the stock exchange start booming, you say, "Hey, I want my job back." Life doesn't work like that.
Right. I mean, as me and Sed carrying the project, I guess people feel, you think a group that's broken up that we don't deserve Hall of Fame or our credentials.
Because you guys are not a whole? Do I think that?
Yeah. Should you be stripped of your but a lot of groups still wasn't together, still gain still gain.
Musical history. You just talked about, the prodigy. That unfortunately Keith Richards, he's descended someplace else. This is part of life. That's this life.
Keith Richards died?
Talk about exhilarating.
Yeah.
No, not Keith Richards.
Oh, hello, kiddies.
Yes.
Keith
Wait a
Richards.
minute, what? Hold on. Time the fuck out. Keith
No,
Richards.
he's talking about Keith from Prodigy.
Oh.
Yeah. Late night.
I mean, it is almost 1 o'clock. We've been talking for close to 3 hours. So
that got weird for a minute.
Excuse me, but I'm thinking,
I
damn.
want to say something about the album, though. Say something about the album.
Go ahead, because I hear Sharon in the background. I don't want to step on anybody. Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the album because, again, Cedric had been kind of like in the process of trying to get an album done prior to this album, the project that he has now. And it seemed like every time he was trying to, the group or the people that were coming together to try to work together to do an Ultra album, it just wouldn't come about for some reason. It would be in the middle of a project and then just something would happen and it wouldn't go through. So I had remembered, because I was around them, and I was saying to Keith, I said to him one day, I said, it seems like Cedric can't get the project going forward because it seemed like stuff has happened. It's like it was kept on like conflict going on within the group of people that they were working with. And then I just said to myself, I said, you know what, Keith, we need to just do this for Cedric ourselves. And we went to him and we asked him, would he be willing to do an album? And he agreed. And we sat down and we got through it. And I think it was the best thing that happened for him, for us, to be able to see the two guys work together again. It was an honor for me. It was also a pleasure. And I'm so grateful that we was able to get through the album without no problems. And it just kept on seeming like every time they were working with a group of people, it just seemed like it was just it was not happening.
At the end of the day, of ultrasounds, me and Seth are the head officials from every album in the past that you ever held up in your hand for Ultra. We are the last to approve of sounds. I don't care if we had any other producer working on it, anybody within the group. We are the last to approve any sound. So it's still the final decisions come between us of approving the last sounds. Even when we was working with Trevor and Mo, ain't no whack sound is getting passed. It's not going to the top of the board, because at the official part of the console, me and him wouldn't let anything go by. So everything you heard had to be approved. Sounds and samples from Mo and Trevor, anything. So because we had controlled high officials of sounds.
And I want to also say that I don't have any animosity, or I don't have any conflict with any other group members. I've known Keith and Cedric and Trevor over 30 years. Yeah. I've known them over 30 years. I've been around when Tim was writing Compton. I've been around a long time. And I had, like I said, I knew the guys for over 30 years. And I was the one that told Keith about Nas. That's who he was talking about. That was me. I was the one that told him about that song. I was riding one day to pick him up from his house. And then I had the tape deck, and I was playing it. I was like, wait a second. Keith, I was like, Keith, your song is on Nas tape. He was like, what? That was so funny. He got in the car, you heard, he was like, what is going on? I'm going to call my lawyer.
This is the thing. A lot of people were putting the shift on Nas when it was the track masters.
Right.
Nas told me he asked them, is it cool? And they said, don't worry about them. Because they see so this was the insult with that album. This was the insult.
they had cleared every other sample on the album except that sample. So that was like, you see what I'm saying?
Almost like they didn't think you were worthy enough to even ask. Like you would be happy to be on it. It will only give you guys promotion.
So our listeners are only going to hear the audio version of this, but I swear, man, if you saw the video version, Seth is like Stevie Wonder for the last hour and a half, sleeping his ass off in the woods. His eyes are shut. This is what are we almost at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
And look, I can't thank you guys enough. I want to do a quick word game before we leave, just a few minutes, because you guys need to sleep, but I appreciate everything. Sharon, you're the glue that holds everything together, so keep doing it. And
thank you.
And keep pushing these dudes, because like, as long as you guys keep making music, there's going to be people like myself and our listeners are going to want to listen to it. And you know, like you said, not many people from that era are still making music to this day. So it's an honor to still be doing it and having people listen and want it and demand it and buy it. So continue to do it. But before we get out of here, because I know Seth is about to go night-night. All right. Let's do a quick game of word association. So simple. All I do is I say a word or a name, whatever, and you guys tell me what comes to mind. We could take turns to make it easy. I'll start with Seth first because I know he's about to be passed out. Ready? Bill Cosby.
Selfish.
That's it? That's what you gave me out of everything? Selfish?
Yes, selfish.
All right.
Selfish, egotistical. Okay, here's a selfish, egotistical. Think because he has money, he can just do what he wants.
Okay. Would you say karma got him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And for a lot of people that don't know what I'm referring to, Seth is actually responsible for making an album. This is way before Bill Cosby got into trouble, obviously, many, many years ago. And there was some bad blood behind it. So that is why I mentioned Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
From Menelik.
Inspirational person, lyrical sparring partner.
Do you still have a relationship with him?
I talked to Menelik yesterday.
Okay, so I guess you do.
And he was just said he worked on some tracks with Godfather Don.
Where is he?
He's upstate, Connecticut somewhere. So, you know, we going to get some tracks back to Menelik. Like you said, we get them back in the studio. That will make you guys smile. Menelik back in the studio.
Well, a lot of people haven't heard from him in ages. You know, he kind of fell off the radar. So I think when people associate Menelik with you, so to hear that you guys are even communicating and putting out stuff, that's pretty cool. You know,
Menelik, like I said, we approve every sound that came out through the albums. We are the final improvement.
Said, I'm going to go back to this, but tell me just in a few words, fuck Compton. Hey, don't tell me in play chord that you didn't know this was going to be a crazy fucking record. I feel like you knew exactly what this was going to be. So
it had to be a crazy record, but you know, if Tim would have stayed on course and not be the calm man and stayed focused, and it could have been very special. There's a reason. Put it like this: there's a reason why when they did the NWA movie, they act like it never happened, because they knew it hit them hard, and they you know, people in LA was asking him, "Yo, what's up, man?" You know, and he hit them hard with that. That was George Foreman, Mike Tyson in their prime punch.
Keith, this is from our mutual friend Tommy. He told me to ask you about Japan. So tell me word association. What comes to mind? Because I'll give you a little background why he said this. He said, I'm talking about Tom C3. Said you guys did a quick tour out there.
Everybody just say height, and I guess that was I hear a lot when I was in Japan. Height. Everything. Everywhere I went.
Is it true you ate the same thing every day while you were there?
I went to TGI Fridays a lot in the McDonald's because Japan is a little it has a little spread out menu. I don't want to gamble.
He said that you would go get fried rice from one shop and go next door and get fried shrimp, and then you would cut up the fried shrimp with a plastic fork and combine it. And you did that every day you were there.
I did that.
Plus, he said you hated the porn because all the Asian porn is boxed out. You can't see shit.
I couldn't see that. It was censored.
Yeah.
Blurred on everything.
That's not porn.
Yeah, it was blurred.
That's just film.
It was blurred. They were blurred and everything. I did buy porn, but it was blurred. And they do a lot of knee-high socks out there. That's like a big thing. Knee-high, up to the knees, collared socks. You know?
Yep.
All right, guys, look. I can't thank you enough. I know we've took a decent amount of time. I hope you
go get the album. Everybody go get the new Ultramagnetic Said G album, Kool Keith Said G album with all the various tracks.
Out on all platforms.
Yo, 2.
Yeah, Black Elvis 2. And look out for the Said G solo album and also the Kool Keith Rhythm X solo album. So we got more records coming. We're not gonna, we're gonna make sure you guys always have new things because we ain't stopped making music. We're not gonna try to, we did a lot of stuff for the legacy and, we love it and we just don't want to live off the legacy, whereas other people, they can't seem to get away from their old records.
Yo, it's that G in the building, and you're checking out. Take it personal.
Take it personal.
No, it's just business.
Good night. Good night.
Peace, guys.
Go say, get out the woods.
He's a home right now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Thanks.
It's Black Presley. Elvis. Black Presley. No amphetamine. 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 Lay on tracks as a delicacy. Women say I do it elegantly. Your girl somewhere with the NFL cock diesel and a silver Bentley. Tinted windows, okay, you a pop star, you don't remember me. Last week she was riding with the St. Louis Cardinals like a 10-speed. Make her drink a milkshake before she breastfeed. Commander doggy style, tax free. Woman of culture, no need to get expensive with me. The New York Giants took you to spas around the whole city. The Jets made you look pretty. The Los Angeles Rams made you twerk for $1.50. It's the Panthers on your phone, you answer. Watch the Falcons romance her into a private dancer. For years she loved the Buccaneers. Milwaukee Bucks all in your ears. Ring your bell, the Oakland Raiders are here. The Jacksonville Jaguars bought you all your gear. The Packers flew you in Lears. The Eagles introduced you to my people. The Indianapolis Colts say you see through. The Chicago Bears and Victoria's Secrets wanna see you. The Jacksonville Jaguars wanna buy you a new car. The Bengals let you sit in VIP, bring all your girlfriends by the bar. The Broncos love female rap stars. Black Presley.
Guys, I can't thank you enough. I don't think you realize this, but this is almost 3 hours we spoke to KRS-One for about 2.5 hours. I think Redman was about 2.5 hours, but you guys now have the record.
Yeah, you got the record.
The longest interview.
Well, you guys got the new album, and y'all got all the discography, and definitely enlighten those people out there. And we're going to have more records, and hopefully you guys don't have to stop with some of the artists that you have that will not ever complete another album again.
How do y'all feel about the 50th anniversary and not seeing Ultramagnetic MCs not included?
So I myself didn't even check it out because I saw who was included and who wasn't, and I kind of didn't have an interest. I think
Same.
I think if you break it all down, whether it was the Angie Martinez thing, whether it was the BET Awards, whether it was just the overall generalization, I think what they're doing is a good thing. but I think that they could package it in a way where everybody's involved, even if it's just
Right.
you know. And I just think that they just don't know how to do that in the time restraints that are TV. So what I do believe someone should do is a proper documentary that takes you from point A to Z and allows everybody to be celebrated, because there are just so many lanes that are just, I don't want to say forgotten. If you're going to document the whole thing, it really needs to be taken from the perspective of the whole genre. And I just feel like sometimes it gets skewed and put into different, categories, and I just think it's like the host becomes who it's all about, or
this is the problem. This is the problem for me, because they have the Yankee Stadium thing going on, right? And Keith and Cedric, they went to school here, they was born here, got famous here. And nobody realizes that the group Ultramagnetic MCs is from the Bronx. Yeah. And they're not on this bill. It's
but you know what, Sharon? I think that if you reached out to the Yankees themselves and talked about how they've made records about all the famous Yankee teams from back in the day, they can go out there and actually be a part of a game where they're celebrated as being Bronx natives. And I think that actually means more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think,
sounds good to me.
I think if you just kind of take it from you open a different door, know, the guys will be celebrated in the right way.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I like that opinion too.
So
I'm like Aaron Rodgers. Relax. Shit takes care of itself.
I went to a game last month, and I'm telling you, I think from the vibe that I felt, if that was part of the, pregame festivities, it would be very well received.
Yeah. I think when our age group becomes the ones that are in power making the decisions for TV and film, I think we're there almost, the 50-somethings, and I think, but it's still run by the umbrella of the older generation, and they obviously don't give a shit. It's really about who can draw the crowd. So
yeah, it's about money.
Yeah,
it's all about money. It's the money grab.
Could you also let the audience know that they have a video out from the album? It's called Delta 5.
Yo, check out Ultramagnetic. Sat G, Kool Keith in that Delta 5 video.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Peace, guys.
All right, say get out the woods.
He's a homeland.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, wrapping it up. That is the Ultramagnetic Experience Part 1. I can't wait to listen to this episode because it'll be the first time that I've ever listened to the album.
I knew that was coming. I knew that shit was coming.
And the interview should be entertaining, and I wasn't part of it, so it's going to be a whole brand new experience for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Kev, just remember this. I mean, Ultra was the type of group, or let's just say Kool Keith in general. He's the type of guy that changed a lot of things in the game. Think of how big Dan the Automator was. Well, Kool Keith was really a big part of that. We kind of break that down in the interview. And so Kool Keith was the guy who liked to bring in these skits and these things from television, these after school special snippets. And that's kind of what Dan the Automator became synonymous with. Even Prince Paul to some extent. So you have to give it to Kool Keith. He was definitely understanding the sequencing and structuring of these records where you kind of got into the story. It almost had like an ebb and flow. So they were doing shit, not just having good music. I mean, he was just a part of this nuanced album. You know what I mean?
One of the most impressive songs on the album is 1212 when you listen to Keith's flow.
Exactly.
The way that he does that. No one's doing that. That was totally catching the vibe and creating a pattern that nobody did.
And that was different from the flow that was going on at the time. So complete innovator, very, very original type cat. And it was just fun to watch all of his arcs, It's like even the Black Elvis stuff. I mean, he really had a pop appeal to his underground, mannerisms.
Ultramagnetic MCs were the original underground group of hip-hop. I will tell you this. There is no underground quote-unquote hip-hop without the Ultramagnetic MCs. They are the reason you have labels like Rawkus. They are the reason why there was a whole independent movement. Kool Keith dropped an album in 88, okay, which was a bona fide classic critical beatdown, right? But it sounded nothing like anything else before, right? Then they came out with Papa Large following that. Then they dropped this in 93. And then he put out Dr. Octagon. Again, music that was way ahead of its time. He was like the ultimate warrior of hip-hop. Just like a once in a generational kind of a dude, crazy energy. No one was like him. And that is why people gravitate towards the Ultramagnetic MCs. They're just different. And that is why people especially in Europe and in Japan, love this guy. Love him. That's why all those groups, whether it's Radiohead, whether it's Prodigy, whether it's Portishead, they love Ultra.
This is a living Doom. You understand? Like, you know, Doom went in infamy, but like this guy's still around.
I feel like dudes like Riff Raff are trying to be Kool Keith, but you know what? Slightly different, but same idea. He's trying to do Kool Keith, but
I think Kool Keith is more. How do I say it? I think he's more authentic in the way he is. Like what you see is what you get with Keith, where I think a lot of the other guys are very sticky. You know, Riff Raff is a smart businessman. I don't think if you have a conversation with him, by the way, I think he's different guy, Wellington.
Right? Different guy.
He's a different dude. But nonetheless, I think that's kind of an act. You know, we've spoken with MC Search a few times. He doesn't sound like anything like he does on his Instagram live videos. You know, on the phone he sounds like you know the Rabbi Michael. What's his name?
Rabbi Shmuley.
Baron.
Yeah.
Rabbi Shmuley.
Baron.
He's going to sell you some life insurance.
Very cool, calm, collective. Doesn't have any affect to his voice. Just very different. So, you know, Keith is Keith. You know, whether you see him in a bodega, whether you see him in a radio station, you see him in concert, or you see him, you know, with some hooker in, you know, Sunset Boulevard or whatever.
Yeah.
That's Keith.
Company Flow exists because of Ultramagnetic.
You are absolutely right. And not just Company Flow, but all the High and Mighty, all those groups studied the blueprint that Kool Keith provided for them.
Hey, at least High and Mighty had him on the record, which I love.
So like I said, that whole indie era is spawned by Kool Keith.
And here's a thought. If you haven't heard it in a while, and it's mad old, it's part of the 88 Holy Grail year. If you haven't heard Critical Beatdown in a while, put that shit in and listen to it, man. It sounds really good still today. It's not one of those ones that you're like, oh man, that does not sound good. Critical Beatdown sounds great today. Put it in tomorrow and check it out. You will thank me later.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to another great episode on Take It Personal. Next up is our Ultramagnetic MCs tribute. We also have a great Kool Keith action figure giveaway coming up on the next episode. Often imitated, never duplicated. This is Take It Personal Radio. Roger the announcer, out.